What's going on, everyone? Welcome to issue 21 of the Spinner Rack. I'm Nathan Kennedy. That is Tyler Baker. And joining us tonight, we have a couple of very special guests. You may know both of these individuals from the hit YouTube shows, Fans of Power. And now for something different, we have the Sultan of Sluts, Ren McKenzie, and the Doctor is in, Dusan Mitrovic. Tonight on the show, Amazing Spider-Man number 248. This issue came about because Tyler and Dusan worked together, and this is actually an issue that Tyler and I were planning to cover somewhere down the line, but tonight is the night. So, gentlemen, before we dive into the topic, gotta do what we always do. Let's kind of shoot the shit a little bit. I don't know who wants
You called me the Sultan of what?
Sultan of Sluts.
Oh, god damn.
Thought you would like it.
I don't know if that's a compliment or
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, or the harasser of heifers.
Damn.
That's a good one. I didn't think about that one.
Get those heifers, man.
I was thinking about the other day, I'm like, God, he calls women he likes heifers. Like,
and they're not even like in the terminology big or anything.
That's what he refers to, man. Like, I is that something that you came
that
up
might
with?
be his polite way of like not calling them hoes.
Yeah, I don't want to call him a bitch or anything. You know,
I've never liked that.
Ugly.
Like when people try to be cool and call women, oh man, some hot bitches. Like that just sounds fucking stupid.
Yeah.
There's nothing cool
better.
or sexy about calling a woman a bitch, even if you mean it in a positive way. It just sounds like, I don't know. It's a very It's a very poor choice of words to describe a woman.
Meanwhile.
It's
a
heifer.
Heifer, man. Look at them heifers.
Not much. I mean, is it much better?
Well, most women won't know what it is.
Well, let's refer to all the women right here live in the chat room.
What's up, heifer?
I wish I had a cricket noise right now.
Yeah.
What's up, whores, sluts?
I was gonna say, what does Deucin call women when he sees a woman he likes? Man, look at them whores.
Slut.
Oh my God! Like now, Deucin.
Call out all the loose ladies in the chat.
You know what? If any pop in here, I'll let you know, Ren.
No, they're in there. They're in there right now.
Oh well, starting off first, we have Johnny Cock.
It doesn't sound ladylike.
Well, all right. Now we're just getting into weird territory. Tyler was talking about he hasn't watched any shitty movies this week. But I think he's got some lined up, especially.
Yeah,
I do.
I sent him the a very wonderful animated movie that's only 1 hour long. It's the Bulgarian version of Treasure Planet.
Interesting.
Yeah, he did send me that, and I do have a few others I'm gonna try and sit down and watch at some point.
And it has titties, so.
You didn't send me that.
That's up.
I'll do it right now, Ren.
Golly.
So the whole thing too, the past couple times where I referred to Ren as the titty genie, the backstory behind that is prior to the show when we're all just hanging out down here and I'm sending the links out into StreamYard and getting everyone corralled in here to do the show. I can't remember who it was. It was either Tyler. I want to say it was Tyler that said it. I think Tyler said titties, and I shit you not, Ren popped up at the bottom on my end of the screen, and I'm like, say the word, and he appears.
That was like last week, wasn't it?
It was. I want to say
it was
fairly
recent. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty recent. Yeah.
Not too long ago, actually. But yeah. And Deuce, you didn't send me that either, by the way. This Bulgarian version of.
I did.
Treasure Island, Treasure Planet.
I did send it to you.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just scroll up and you'll see it.
I see it now. All right, I see it here on the YouTube's English dub.
Yeah, right above the Wizards links that are totally legal.
Yeah.
Because Deucin wouldn't send you anything illegal, would you?
Yeah.
Right.
So some poor saps had to dub that. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's in English.
Well, I saw English dub, so I said some poor saps had to dub it.
Is this kind of like takeoff? Like I think wasn't it a Disney film called Treasure Planet?
This predates it decades.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
it's from the 80s.
Yeah, Treasure
Okay.
Planet didn't come out until what 2002 or something.
Yeah, something like that.
The
Yeah.
Disney version of at least.
It was a good one too.
Ren, I do have some recommendations for you because I have been watching some terrible movies as well.
Ah, shit.
Plenty,
You know where to put them.
Plenty.
They beat
That thing's
Dust
dropped
Us.
so far down in my inbox list. I don't know where to go find it.
Well, all of the ones that I watched this week are on Tubi. So
I've got Tubi. Yeah.
Yeah, you can find them on there. So I'm just gonna, I'll send them to you. Send you the names again, but I'll tell them to you now while we're doing the show. So Street Trash.
Street Trash. I like that one already.
Trash.
Yeah, Death Spa, Killer Workout, and Night Killer.
Killer Workout sounds like a good one too.
They're all fairly decent, though I will say Night Killer is heads above the rest. I mean,
Yeah, that's one I'll have to watch because he described that to me. I watched the trailer. I'm like, okay, yeah, I have to watch
and
that.
I sent
Is that right?
Tyler. Well, no,
Yeah.
Slugs. Slugs
Night
was the other
Killer.
one that
Yeah.
I watched, and I sent
Night
Tyler
Killer.
a couple
See
scenes
that
from
one?
that were pretty good, pretty funny.
Hold on,
but
man. I think someone gave me that one already.
yeah, Night
I might have
Killer.
watched it already.
Night Killer's funny because pretty much none of the kills take place at night. They all happen in the daylight. So I'm like, all right, that makes sense.
Oh no, I definitely didn't see
I was just saying,
this.
Ren may have watched. He just fell asleep 5 times while he was trying to watch it.
No, he only fell asleep 5 times trying to read the book that we're going to be discussing here.
Yeah, it was a good sleep too. The book kept waking me up.
Oh man, is there anything
Which,
else?
as we get into this, it'll be interesting to hear, like, you know, what Deucin and Ren believe. Like, obviously, I think we'll be on the same page on this. But what really makes a good comic book from everyone's perspective, from the art to the story to who's featured in it? Do you need this in your book to make it memorable and enjoyable, or have an impact on you?
It needs to have a modern social commentary, the dumbest as possible, the better, and it has to be dull looking, preferably it has to look like crap, and also it has to have a decompressed storytelling because it doesn't overload our brains. So
Yeah,
we
that
have
way
to see
you're
the same
inclined to buy.
scenes for 5 next pages.
So we
Dumb
should,
everything down.
we should be
Yes,
selling.
and occasional hyper-violence because that's always awesome.
Okay. So
And the same
basically-
story should be dragged out for 12 months with very shitty covers. Some
Yes.
artists who
Yes,
can
And
because
draw
Booby.
like if
Yeah.
you're impatient, then you just wait for the trade paperback.
Oh yeah. That's true.
I hate trade
Because-
paperbacks.
That's never been.
Ren, did you see the upcoming trade paperback of G.I. Joe?
No.
It's the size of a Bible.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
wow.
it's all the Marvel stuff in one book, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in 2 books. In 2
In 2
books.
books.
It's
Yeah,
like,
but you're gonna split the spine on it.
yes, and all for the luxury of $300.
I mean, your bird is clearly excited for it.
Yeah,
That bird's cursing Marvel out.
that's something we will have to cover at some point. Is do some classic Larry. Well, of course, he still writes GI Joe, but some of the '80s to '90s run of GI Joe
Okay.
is the
Or
art.
maybe even his Star Wars story.
That's right.
He
did-
wrote an issue of Star Wars Marvel during the Marvel run.
Yeah. He's got that, and he's done well. Which I know we've touched on his Wolverine because me and Nathan covered an issue of that a while back as well. It's something that's not celebrated nowhere near as much, but
That's true.
a hell of a writer and a pretty good drawer too because he did some of the drawings.
You
Haven't
can-
seen DC Cab yet, but we talked about
Yeah.
that last week.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna order it this weekend.
Yeah, and he occasionally still does sketches for the G.I. Joe covers for the new comics.
Gotcha.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
other artists follow that.
There's a guy that does at least, and I'm assuming I don't know if it was because this new company has the rights to it, and it's not IDW. But this one guy did a lot of classic look covers. There were alternate covers, but it was like everything from the '80s. Like he threw in a cover of Snake Eyes fighting Crystal Ball, of like Beachhead, Outback, and Lowlight, and like a shooting spree. Like just these awesome covers with the classic looks. Like he was really paying homage to the classic looks, not trying to alter or anything. And they were all great. Like the women looked amazing. Like he's got one of like CoverGirl and I forgot who else. Like she's on a couple of different covers as well. Beachhead's on some. General Hawk. Chuckles is driving a Corvette while being chased by Cobra Commander and like a Cobra Fang, I think,
Nice.
or something like that. Yeah, it's just they were really, really.
The Miami Vice feel.
Yeah, very much so. And I mean, it just I even reached out to him. He doesn't really do commissions anymore. But even if he did, they'd be fucking expensive. Like he's got hand issues, like his because he's drawn so damn much, so he doesn't do commissions anymore. I'm sure Ren knows what that like too. Like just where your hand's just kind of crippled almost. Yeah. But if I can find real quick, I'll send it to Nathan and let you guys see what
I can only hold pencils and forks, man.
That's
all you can also try to commission stuff from Guido Guidi. He also worked on the Transformers comics, and he does fantastic retro covers.
That I'd like to see because I'm all about it, especially here's some here.
It's funny that you mentioned Ren's artwork because we got a little something show off.
Oh my God! He's got Tusker Warrior in there now too. Holy shit balls!
He sent this to me right before we went live.
Oh my God! So he nailed Termagar in the Tusker Warrior outfit with his vintage gun and everything.
So I still gotta do the highlights on there, but he's almost done.
Oh my God, Ren. Fuck, I couldn't be happier with that.
So we should expect this relatively soon on Ren's TeePublic shop. Link is down below, so make sure
you
keep tabs on that. Of course, when a new design goes up on TeePublic, because they're not having a sale right now, but when a new design goes up, it is
at
a discounted price for a very limited amount of time. So
I think it's what 24, 48 hours.
Yeah,
when a new one comes
48.
up. Yeah. I think it's 48.
Yeah, I think it is too. Ren, that looks fucking amazing, dude, man.
Thank you, brother.
No, thank you, man. Shit.
God,
Deucen's lost his voice again.
He hasn't lost it.
Oh, the mouse. Yeah, the mouse moving, no sound.
Okay. Yeah, because I heard his typing on the keys there. God, everyone looks so good, Ren. Thank you so much, man.
Oh man, thank you. Thank you for your patience.
Ren's just
Thank
sitting
you.
there
Thank
like
you.
counting the money. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
Thank you.
how did you hear my keyboard when I had it muted?
Oh,
I don't know. No, but I heard the key. I don't know. I still heard him like banging away on the keyboard there.
He wasn't muted. I ended up having
Okay.
to.
Gotcha.
I sent Nathan a sample of Guido Guidi's Transformers work. So
Okay.
we can show that.
Guido Guidi.
Yeah, he's Italian.
I never would have guessed. There, take it.
Look at
Oh,
that talent.
God, that's
Oh,
nice,
that is
man.
beautiful.
God, Cyclonus and the scores look awesome, dude.
Yeah,
Fuck.
he's homage to Five Faces of Darkness.
Oh my God. Yeah, pulling Galvatron out of the. Yeah. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Or just watching them burn.
And he does
that is
ton
nice.
of these. He did a ton of such covers. Like he's fantastic. Like
Dude, Transformers are hard to draw, man.
That's what I've heard.
They are very, very hard to draw.
Tyler's got another commission for you.
I mean, I had several transfers because I wanted to see a lot of Decepticon groups. So that's something I have on my list from the Constructicons, the Stunticons, and my favorite Decepticons in general. So
Ren's hand. So
it starts crippling up.
He's got to go get surgery now. By the way.
Yeah.
The time has come.
Just can't do it.
All right, Tyler sent me these as well.
Yeah. It's like Outback, Rock and Roll, and General Hawk, and there's a variation of that too. I think where it's a little bit more expanded with there's a few more guys in that shot.
Yeah.
And then there's Falcon and CoverGirl.
See, isn't it amazing how there are still people who get what makes a good comic book art, but they just reduce to doing like homages.
Yeah, like they'd rather just do their version of what someone else did as opposed to come up with your own creative thing. Like he's done Alpine.
No, there's no writers to match the quality that they put in. That's such a shame.
It is, especially knowing that there's guys out there who don't try and reinvent the classic looks. That all they want to do is honor it. And there's guys like Ren and these guys we just talked about, who can still take that classic look and add some grits and edginess to it, a little bit of maturing, and still make it look like the impactful characters that we saw when we were kids.
Yeah, that's another thing about the cartoon stuff is that like just because the designs are fairly simplistic, although sometimes deceptively simplistic, it doesn't mean that you can't add to it. Like you can add from wrinkles to shadowing to make it comic booky.
Yeah.
That's what.
But you got to have that style as well. I mean, you think there's a lot of people who are animators who don't know how to translate to comic book style, right? Or there's comic book guys who can't translate to animated style, and it's just a style cue, because like a lot of the guys who went to CCAD when I was there, we were in comic class, and we had guys when anime was just kind of getting big. It really wasn't anywhere near what it's at now, and you could tell the difference. Like everything was Dragon Ball Z style, and it just did not translate at all to American comic book style. And
they didn't really grasp what makes anime good looking. So you get this like thing that's looks like anime but is uncanny. Like when you look at early CGI and it's like a little bit creepy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it was lifeless, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So if you don't have the basics, if you don't know how to actually draw realism, then you can't bring it back and do comic book style, in my opinion, right? So if you know how to draw facial expression, if you know how to draw body movement, if you know how to draw these things in real life, then it's very easy to translate that to a comic book style, and I think that's what makes most most professional comic artists successful. So
there, I feel like, and I remember talking to Kevin Sharp about this too. And he said, that Marvel hires a lot of guys who aren't talented because they're cheap.
Yeah,
and you see a lot of it, and I it's one of the reasons I stopped reading, and I've ranted about this, but I remember reading certain like modern books just because I thought, okay, that might be interesting. Pick it up. The artwork is lazy, it's cheap, and it's overshadowed to like cover up the lack of, well, drawing there. It feels like they go overboard. I remember trying to read Savage Avengers, which was one of the most ridiculous mishmash of characters thrown together, and just thinking this was such an ugly ass book. Like everything is ridiculously shadowed up because it just looks so. I don't know. I just thought it looked really fucking poor.
And there are times like when the artwork itself is great, but then you have the colorist who just messes it up by making it look muddy, and the inks just practically disappear.
Yeah.
And speaking of the cheapness, like the craziest part is that the comic book artists, like, they don't really know how much each other earn. Like, it's all wrapped under secrecy. It wasn't until like a few years ago when a bunch of people in the industry gathered around and shared data among each other to see just how things are in the industry.
Especially like in the 90s when, that entire group of Marvel artists that decided, fuck this, Marvel's not going to pay us to start our own company. How important good artwork really is because of how much money Marvel's making off their artwork. Like, you don't hear the guys who are writing those books, getting any attention. It was all about Eric Larson, Todd McFarlane, Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, and Mark Silvestri. Like, all those guys, just like that, you didn't hear about anything about writing. It's all about artwork, and I still feel like that is, I dare say, arguably more important because I could read a simple story of Spider-Man stopping a simple bank robbery, 24 pages of that, if the artwork is fucking amazing. Because you can make a simple story of just Spider-Man stopping a bank robbery look like one of the greatest things you've ever seen if you got an artist who cares and has a lot of really fun. Like, Rand could tell a great story of Spider-Man stopping Whirlwind from robbing a bank. It's like an homage to the Avengers arcade game. 22 pages of Spider-Man. Oh my God, Spider-Man's tingling. Boom, a big explosion. It's just Whirlwind, one of the D-list, Avengers villains. 22 pages of them battling it out, and he saves the day and takes the money back to the bank. Be fucking amazing. Simple story.
I've had that argument. I've had the argument so many times, man, with writers. Like it's one of those weird things. Like writers and artists have this who's more important to a comic book, now strictly comic book genre, and I'm like, a good writer is an absolute bonus. However, a good artist will make a bad writer look good.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot make a bad artist look good.
Yes.
With a good story. You know what I mean?
I agree, and I feel like
in the comic book field, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's right.
But at the same time, the writer must not be too bad. Otherwise, there's no saving the comic book, because recently I read some British comic books from 1960s that have top quality artwork. I forgot how the original name is. The silver claw. The guy has ability to turn invisible except his artificial hand. It's kind of a weird comic book, but the artwork is top notch. But the quality of stories, they're often just not very well written. And there's there's a comic strip called Jeff Hawke, another UK strip, and it's phenomenal artwork. Some stories have titties, and
the
plot is just...
Say no more. Ren is in.
The plot is just crap.
There we go. Look, he exploded all over the
place. It's kind of weird now. It doesn't it doesn't do the whole page anymore. What the? Because the room's too dark, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, even with good artwork, there's some shitty stories back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and it's you may have a good artist on there, but God, they have got a shitty villain, and it's a complete waste of pages and effort for, Razorback or some other shitty forgettable Spider-Man villain that no one gives a fuck about. The Mind Worm. I mean, it's like.
Don't hate on the Mind Worm.
It's not. It just feels like. I mean, even after you read it, you're just like,
I buy comics solely based on artwork now, man. If I open the page and I don't like more than one or two panels in the book, I won't buy it.
Me too.
And
I'll look it up on the Marvel app, and I'm like, if this artwork's fucking nasty, I exit out. I'll find something else.
Yeah.
I also look at the colors. If coloring looks like shit, I'm not gonna fucking read it, no matter the quality of the artwork.
Yeah, he looks at it, he's like, wrong! Clicks it.
It's so often you have this weird eyesore coloring with all the weird pastels and teal and weird greens. It's this is unpleasant to look at.
This is going to be a super dumb question, but back in the day, just based off, because I've heard a lot of the stories about how, for example, the Hulk, the way that the color came to be is basically how the paper that was printed on, the printers that they were printing on, is that obviously something they would have had to have taken into consideration when they're doing this, and now that's not so much a problem.
Yeah, today's printing processes are way, way, way better. That's why there's so much of the fancy Photoshop coloring happening. Before, you couldn't do that because it would end up looking grayish blobs.
And I'm assuming that the vast majority now of this, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, are they mostly just using, in the bigger companies, are they mostly just using tablets when they're drawing? I'm assuming there's not much actual paper being drawn on.
Some still do it traditionally, some do it digitally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
It depends on
main
the artist.
attraction is that they can later sell it on eBay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sell the original pages. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because digital uh, broke the need for any artist to actually be in one city.
Yeah.
So you're able to scan it, or like nowadays, I can take a picture with my phone or with the tablet, and it'll go around the corners and then put it together, and then you can send it out.
That's so.
Or if I do a commission at a show and I really like it, I can scan it with one of the devices and then either finish it, digitize it, and do digital colors, or make prints of it.
It's astonishing because he sent me like essentially a finished. I remember the dinosaurs like villains the Tyrannos. He sent me the group shot, and then sent me like it was just he had to make some alterations. It was like lightning time in terms of like the background and everything. Oh my god! Like, then he was done. Like I couldn't believe like it was like exactly what I wanted, and then the background was just a few minutes, and it was ready to go. It was just he's very fast when it comes to that. I mean, just changing things that I feel like when you use like an actual pencil, like they got to get the light pencil so they can make any kind of adjustments and erase that, so they can go with the deeper pencils. And Rand just makes these adjustments. Like it's
Yeah, the biggest thing is the layers, man. Like
Yeah.
if I'm able to keep the layers separate, then I'll know, okay, I don't have to mess with anything else. I don't have to worry about messing up any of this other stuff if I just want to, pick this part and change it, or or switch out the entire background and do something new with it. And it's just that is the biggest benefit of digital. I'm a huge hater of technology, and I didn't want to go digital. And I told you guys before, it took me years to go to CDs. I hate technology, dude. Like, I hate it. You see my shirt. I fucking hate technology, man.
I
So,
can appreciate
But that's
that, though.
technology too.
yeah, but it's not CDs.
Yeah, but also it can also store digital data. Like when I was a kid, I used to play games on audio cassettes because I had
Really?
Commodore 64.
Yeah, Commodore 64.
Well, I didn't. I
It took
had a tape player, and
eons to load the games.
I had to record like this.
I remember.
Yeah, which is also the benefit of games on tapes, because you could literally make duplicates of them like that.
Yeah. Not much has changed there for him. Piracy all the way, right?
Yeah.
Flag till
Yeah.
you die.
I would really need to have do it with like an eye patch and something like with his bird on his shoulder.
With his parrot, yeah.
Start putting an eye patch on your Tom Servo and the Skeletor. I think it'll be very suiting of your personality, sir. I was gonna mention to Ren when he's talking about the audio cassette that I remember as a kid realizing that I could just with my boombox just record the sounds around me. So I went and recorded NES music from the games that I had, but then also
That's cool.
I stayed home one day from school because I was sick, and was recording music from MTV, and I wanted to wait around all day for Def Leppard's Two Steps Behind from Last Action Hero.
Oh yeah.
And I was recording it. I was so excited that the song was finally playing that day. And I went to go turn the volume up on my remote, but I accidentally hit channel. And
Turn the channel?
It turned the channel, and Price is Right was on at the time. So,
You had fucking Bob Barker.
Yeah, it would have been like 11 somewhere in the morning. Because I had been up since, I think, like 5:30, 6 a.m. And at the time, this is when MTV was playing music videos pretty much all day.
The whole day, yeah.
So I, at this point, had been waiting 5 hours. I would even click over to VH1. I'm like, maybe they'll play it. Maybe VH1 will play this Def Leppard Last Action Hero song. And it's just somewhere. I probably still have the tape. I imagine it's probably moldy and doesn't work anymore. But I was so like, I had it, and you just hear like it's like a split second. You hear Bob Barker say like a word. And then it cuts back to the song, and I was like, "No!" So mad. God, good times, good times. Well, do you guys want to go ahead and we'll jump into?
Let's get it started, man. Let's
Yeah,
get it
let's
started.
do it.
2:48. So here we go. Actually, I think it's probably still over here. I think I still have it in a frame because this was part of my Wrecking Crew display that I had on this wall at the time. So we have a favorite amongst Tyler and myself. We have Thunderball here, who's going to take place in the first half of this book. But this also, let me move this over here.
I will say too, as we get into this, I encourage, if you like this story that we're going to talk about, I encourage you to read the issue before to really set the stage for the.
Yeah, because it kind of jumps in the middle of something.
Yeah.
Well,
but it's a great for a Thunderball story. Which I all right, go ahead, Nathan.
I was going to say, would you like to set the stage for what transpires?
All right, I'll go ahead and do that to encourage you. That is that Spider-Man goes and visits one of his informants, and informant says, "I don't know
That
anything
being
about
the kid.
Yeah, it's the kid. No, and his name's Nosy. And of course, the guy gives Spider-Man like, no, I don't know anything. Nothing's going on. So he puts a spider tracer on him and tracks him down to a warehouse that he is delivering a instrument case to a gentleman that's kind of cloaked in shadow. Turns out to be Thunderball, and Spider-Man thinks it's going to be this big heist, and it's really about getting essentially. Thunderball is after Wrecker's crowbar, which anyone who knows anything about the Wrecking Crew is enchanted with Asgardian magic that turns the Wrecking Crew into the Wrecking Crew. And he's after it for himself. So he hires a whole crew to set up this big heist to get the crowbar back. And when they find out that that's what you hired us for, like, we're not after money, and he's like, I don't need you guys anymore. He's got the crowbar, like, fuck Wrecker and Pile Driver, Bulldozer, I'm going out on my own. And Spider-Man tracks it down, and that's kind of where we're at. It's just, it's a 2-part story, and it's good to see Thunderball doing so. He's done a few solo appearances. He's my favorite of the Wrecking Crew. He's got the most unique look. He's the most badass, and he's the most intelligent. Yeah. And that's consistent through all of his appearances. He is definitely the more smarter of the group. And,
I would say number 2 for me. Of course, I Wrecker's 1, but he's very close number 2.
Oh, he's definitely even more than Wrecker. And I like this idea that he's got the crowbar. Like that's the Wrecker's, that's his iconic weapon. And Thunderball has the ball and chain. But to see him with the crowbar itself is very, it's epic in my mind.
Well, let's go ahead and get this part out of the way. Let's get Ren and Deucen's opinion. I'm gonna assume should I just get the GIF ready now? I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, how often did they have artists and writing credits on the lettering page?
On like the next page?
On the letters page, because usually it's on the splash page, but in this issue,
sometimes it varies.
Neither story has it.
Sometimes there will be like you've got like an opening splash image, and like the next page or two over, they've got their credits. But typically it's usually on the first page. But yeah, I mean there are
sometimes they have it on the last page. There's really no rhyme or reason, I don't think.
No.
I guess it's kind of cool in this regard to see it not like to do that.
Yeah, it's not taken away from the splash image of Thunderball. Yeah, it's just showing him in all his glory.
Ren
and questionable fashion sense.
I like the lime green and yellow. I don't give a fuck.
I do too. I like the color combo.
It's so Dr. Octopus, man.
How can he expect people to take him seriously?
Look at the guy. The guy's walking on the ball and chain.
But if he psychologically analyze him, that's why he really wants the crowbar, because he can't otherwise get people to take him seriously unless he bashes their heads open.
Well, I told Nathan to read this. There's a story called the Round Robin story arc in Amazing Spider-Man, and this group actually hires Thunderball without his Asgard, just as him, to help work on some weapons for them. Like he has a prominent minor role in the story that he's there. He's actually given an outfit with a ball and chain, to kind of mimic, it's kind of more of a machine outfit, but it looks very cool. Like I would buy a Marvel Legend of that. but it was just so cool that he's brought into the story simply because of his intelligence. And I like that about the character. Like any time that you see him depicted with the Wrecking Crew, he's always either telling them to shut up or he's thinking logically, like, you know what, this is fucked up. This is not working out. I'm getting the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Or he's just the more rational thinking of the group. And
yeah, because everyone else is just action.
Yeah, they want to fight.
Ask questions later, kind of deal. So yeah, but you have to have that in that team dynamic. I guess it's just a little lopsided because everyone else is so.
It is, and
bullheaded.
And they're all like that. Essentially, well, not Thunderball, but if you look, I mean, are either one of you guys familiar with the Wrecking Crew, like the whole quartet? Either one of you guys?
Yeah.
I was gonna say because Pile Driver. What's that?
He says loosely.
Loosely. Yeah, Pile Driver by far is the weakest looking. Like I know you guys don't like the color scheme of Thunderball, but if you see Pile Driver, he is by far the weakest looking, like visually, of the group. Bulldozer's got the helmet, Wrecker's got the outfit and the crowbar, but Pile Driver is just a white and red outfit with a mask over it. He's not very enjoyable to look at, and he's almost the dumbest. Bulldozer's the dumbest, but he's the more visually, of the two.
Visually, he's the dumbest.
Well, I'm just saying, like, he's just not. Thunderball and Wrecker are clearly the two alphas of that group. They clearly could be. There's an Iron Man story where Thunderball takes on Iron Man when Jim Rhodes, War Machine is donning the Iron Man outfit. Like his first outing as Iron Man, he's taking on Thunderball.
Is this the one that is alluded to within this issue?
Yes,
the one that
I believe so.
they mentioned here. I think it's like Iron Man 171 or
something.
We'll get to it when we see it there.
Yeah. But we're right into the action, like just where Spider-Man's this guy that Spider-Man's carried was just taken out by Thunderball because that's when the group decided to turn on him, and Spider-Man sees one of them get thrown right out the window, and
that guy's back is broken.
Yeah,
that dude is crippled.
Just seeing
also,
the
what's
shot.
With his hair? It's like he's like colored to be bald, but he has hair.
Who, Thunderball? Oh, right there.
That guy.
Oh, okay.
Look at that.
Oh, wait. Maybe he has a little bit of hair on his head. But
is that blood coming out his nose?
Yeah. He's getting the fuck kicked out of him.
Motor oil.
Up.
He's getting fucked up.
Yeah.
His bell bottoms are all jacked up. His boots.
Everything.
This is easily my favorite part where he's talking about my power comes from the Queen of Asgardian Norns, and Spider-Man saying Asgardian Norns. Do you believe that?
Yeah.
No, me neither. Like, that was good. There you go, Doosan.
Yeah,
he's got hair.
Are you sure that's not a hole in his head? That it's not his brain?
It could be blood. It could be blood.
That is blood.
Well, and clearly there's blood drawn on his face, but Marvel had to be careful about how much blood was featured in the books. Even when people are shot up, they just can't get crazy. But I love how like Thunderball's after he feels like he's made his statement, like he's just like, all right, I'm out of here. I'm gonna walk away from this because I don't give a fuck about Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But the blood, at very least, they were forced to do it tastefully. Unlike these days when they'll literally draw brains sticking out.
Is this gonna be Doosan's whole thing? We're gonna mention a little bit, and he's like, unlike today, where they make everything.
Yes, fuck today.
Phone works.
Yep.
I don't know. Sometimes I have to go back and think, oh yeah, landlines.
Landlines,
Yes, when phones used to work fine.
There we go.
You only drop a call when you hit the.
Wait a minute. How does he insert the coin into that? Into the phone.
That's for payphones. That's a landline.
Yeah, no coins on those.
Yeah, no coins. Only the ones you'd find on the street corners and restaurants.
So wait, was this an office that was wrecked or what?
Yeah, it was like a location that was wrecked. Yeah.
I didn't notice the rotary dial.
Yeah, you'll need. Did you read the previous issue too?
No, I didn't send it to him.
Okay.
No, I'm not sure that one was published here at all.
Okay. Yeah, we need to make sure that you get your hands on that one as well.
Hey, there we go. Did I say 171?
Yeah, 170.
Yeah, go me.
I think it's a two-part story too.
$165.
Fuck you, Ren. I know what
it
says.
But,
But he goes on to say here, but it was long enough to do some thinking and figure out why I'd become so weak that Iron Man was able to beat me with a single blow. So if you want to check that out, Iron Man 171, which I probably need to do.
Yeah, it's a good cover too.
Yeah.
But just seeing these shots of like his confidence with, like I've got the crowbar, flipping it into the air there, and just carrying the ball and chain. Like Absorbing Man has got a ball and chain too, and he looks cool. But there's something about Thunderball that just looks more epic to me. I don't know. I love the color scheme. It's similar to Dr. Octopus's, but I associate Dr. Octopus with the orange and green, and not the green and yellow, which he's worn green and yellow occasionally.
And I like here, it's like, oh, if you want to know how they became the Wrecking Crew, Defenders number 18, which
they're
what, am I going to pull a Joe Amato? Yeah, boom, there you go.
Yeah, there's their first appearance.
Yeah, put that up there.
Which
how
actually,
much did that one run you?
The issue before is their technical first appearance. This is their first cover appearance.
Hey man, you get out of here. Get out of here. Also, issue 19.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hulk is dead. No.
Yep, Hulk's dead.
And the Defenders one that is a book that has got always like the most random mishmash of characters thrown together. Like at one point it's like Hercules, Silver Surfer, and a couple of others. Like it's just like they just kind of throw together random superheroes together. And here we are, Spider-Man just jumping and just steals the crowbar right from him like that. And this
also he calls
him Doc.
Yeah. I like Doc Octopus.
Yeah.
That's who Spider-Man thinks this is.
It's like poetry, so it rhymes.
So it rhymes, yeah.
All this time, Spider-Man is thinking that he's battling Dr. Octopus.
That shot of the panel, like him just staring down, holding. I think that's a great stare down panel there, and the explosion of the boulder. You can hear this playing out in sound too, like hitting that massive boulder and just hurling that and just obliterating that boulder. Like that.
Just having the dialogue too, just like, hey, that's not going to work if you're touching it.
Yeah,
it only works when I touch it.
It's so fucking cool.
Little thwip into the face.
Yeah, which is a signature of Spider-Man's. Yep. I can't think of
flip and flop.
Yeah. Every villain's going to get some webbing in the face at some point. To
yeah. And this is pretty gnarly too. Fucking whacks him in the shins and then hits him in the back of the head with.
Yeah, like he's not pulling any punches. Like he realizes pretty quickly. Like as much he likes to make fun of the villains,
he's also probably suffocating because like that webbing is covering his entire face.
Yeah,
but he also
Spider-Man just killed the guy.
No, but he puts him over pretty good in his.
Spider-Man is no Batman.
His little inner monologue.
He's a killer.
Must be out of the same stuff as the wrecking bar. I managed to knock him to his knees, but only because I got him off balance. So it kind of putting the character over quite a bit, saying I'm doing all these things, and this is what brought him down a little bit, but he's not out.
And I love the motion of the ball and chain being thrown, and I love how it acts like Mjolnir, like it can come right back to Thunderball like that.
But
so fucking cool.
But what does it do? It takes Spider-Man on a ride. over traffic here, which I think that's me right now, currently sitting there in my car.
Yeah, I can see that. Fuck traffic.
I want to say it's fucking traffic.
Yeah.
Admittedly, though, this little I get what they're trying to do.
Amazing. It's amazing, right? Huh? Yeah.
Well, I guess this would be a good point as any to ask Ren what his thoughts are so far on the artwork in the book.
Honestly, for the most part, the artwork didn't draw me.
Wow.
There were a lot of things that I found fault in as far as the artwork. I love the character, obviously. I like Spider-Man and Powerball as much as anybody else, but
Powerball. You mean
Powerball?
Thunderball.
Yeah, Powerball. And so,
all right, Deucin.
Battle Bones. That's his name.
I mean, he's a cool character. And I really do. And honestly, I knew exactly why Tyler picked this story for us. It was for Powerball.
I'm a
He loves
Thunderball fan.
Powerball.
I love Thunderball, but I also knew like Deuce and I made a list. I made a list of Daredevil, Iron Fist, Avengers, and a few others and sent them to Deuce because I was like, because
I
I just
also had Casper and Richie Rich on the list.
fuck those
What?
books.
Kool-Aid Man and
Those
Nolan
cool
Ryan.
Archie ones.
Yeah, Barbie,
Yeah,
all
Barbie.
that shit.
Archie versus Predator.
I figured Deuce would pick Thor because he likes reading Thor a lot too. We'll
Yeah.
have to throw
I
lists together.
was totally expecting, because I didn't know what Tyler, but he kind of gave me an idea of characters that he was putting on this list to send to him. I'm like, Dewson's gonna pick Thor. He's been reading Thor.
Yeah, but the issue that he sent, it was ahead of the stuff I was reading, so spoilers.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
That's all on Tyler.
Well, I guess with the Thor stuff, which I need to put lists together, and let Ren pick one then too, and see what he would pick.
I think next time we do this, we let Ren pick.
Yeah, we'll put a
out
list.
of the.
I threw in like Daredevil, Man Without Fear. I threw in like the Death of Elektra.
Yeah.
Just some because I'd be cool to get Ren's take on like Frank Miller's Daredevil run, like the art in that.
No.
I
guess not.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
Oh, I guess we'll have to say that for a Renless episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually skipped reading Daredevil because of Frank Miller's art.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Frank Miller's art. Man.
Now I will say his
That's
later stuff.
understandable.
I get it, but because I remember initially not being turned on by like the Wolverine miniseries he did with Chris Claremont. Like initially, I didn't like the interior art. The cover art was nice, but the interior was like it's not bad, but it's not great either. And I've gotten real used to where I can appreciate that. I love his Daredevil run. I do like the artwork a lot in that now, more than I used to.
Yeah.
But I think I like his later stuff.
It's well, I think that's kind of that whole thing of just with Frank in the time period with Daredevil. That was more of him kind of still kind of playing amongst the standards and practices,
conforming.
Conforming.
But it was
there
still,
you go.
and that's what it was still different though, because you look at the guys who drew Daredevil previous to that, it was a lot different.
It was, but he's still like he's giving in more to like their notes and shit. Whereas like later on, once his name takes off, he's like, I'm doing this my way, and I think that's where you kind of see
because there is a bit of a drop off in the change because he I think the first one he wrote and drew, I think was the one where Daredevil faces up with the Hulk. I think because he was drawing. He's drawing the book, but not writing it. And that's one thing I loved about Spider-Man through most of the 60s, 70s, and 80s is that they don't really like all the artists from Romita to Gil Kane to Ross Andrew. They pretty much stick to form. Like everyone, it's almost kind of hard to pinpoint a lot of the differences of who's on the book because the guys do and they can clearly tell when John Romita's drawing it. You can clearly tell when Steve Ditko's drawing it and Gil Kane. But after that,
but that all goes to the whole thing of, hey, we want to keep this sort of samey that way. Yeah, consistent. Yeah. So it's not too altering to the reader, which I totally understand. But also, I get the thing too of wanting to have that artistic freedom to be able to put your own kind of touches on things. Like Ren, if you were in that position and you were up there in that league, you're doing that, hey, we're going to give you this book, you're following such and such, but you have to kind of just stick to this. Is that something that you would be totally comfortable with, or are you going to kind of fight back on that? If the money, how much am I getting paid, right?
Yeah. I mean, if my job is basically to mirror someone, I don't know if I would be able to do it. If I were able to put my own spin on it, if they wanted me to follow the tick marks of an artist so that the flow of everything, if I was like a fill-in artist, that's one thing. But if I'm the artist on a story, then it's got to be mine. You know what I mean? I want that story to be mine.
at the same time, there's a difference between reinventing a design and following design, because you can still do it in your own style, but still have the character recognizable.
Yeah, absolutely. But like say you had, like, for me, I told you guys most of the stories that I get into, and they have an artist, and then by the 8th or 9th issue, that artist is gone. They've got somebody else that's completely different.
Yeah.
That's where I kind of draw the line.
And the characters, whenever they unmask themselves, they look like entirely different people.
Yeah, they don't look right. So you go from a really good artist to someone that doesn't know how to draw people.
Yeah, it's like watching a TV series, and all of a sudden the main actor is gone, replaced.
Yeah. I will say, like what you guys said about how they don't want to draw people. Like, I think some guys are better drawing the heroes and the villains in their outfits. Like how McFarlane and Eric Larson draw like Peter Parker and Mary Jane. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's a bit off-putting because I think they get a little crazy with the facial features, and it kind of makes them look a bit ugly and odd. But you see Spider-Man in his, Peter Parker in Spider-Man outfit, or the Lizard, Venom, the Sinister Six, like they look vicious and amazing because you can do that with villains and the heroes in their costumes. But people, McFarlane, I think, got better with people when he started drawing Spawn. But
he got better. He got better with people later on in Spawn.
Yeah.
When he first started, like Wanda was not pretty in the face, but I mean, you could see issue by issue him growing. You know what I mean? And that was a cool thing. You could almost tell he was rushing to keep up with himself and keep those stories going.
I mean, in all things considered, he did a pretty fucking good job, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but he hit a lot of things in shadow in those early issues,
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
So he was one of those people, I think you were talking about earlier, that his shortcomings were hidden in a lot of shadow, even when it wasn't necessary. And it was like, okay, let me fill in all this black so that I can be done with this page and move on to the next one.
And maybe some of that could have been Rush's job to meet deadlines to get shit out, and it could have been a lot of that going on. But
I can see that because those guys had a lot
on their plate.
On the fact that they dropped out of those big name places, and they people were like, all right, motherfuckers, if you guys fuck it up,
Has there ever been a documentary about that whole ordeal? Because if there's not, there should be.
I'm sure there are.
There is I think it's a small documentary about them living and starting Image. Okay. But I don't think they go into great details about.
We need like a good comprehensive like Netflix-esque documentary.
Yeah, because I feel like I don't know if they could like really talk about like the details of like why they left Marvel. Like
there's probably some NDAs that were signed, I would think.
A lot of those NDAs are probably run out by now.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, so what better time than now to make this happen, right?
Yeah,
Liefeld recently was online mocking McFarlane. He hates him. He fucking hates him.
And there's probably a story behind that, which they need to.
I'd love to hear it too.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
I'd love to fucking hear it too.
Get some more fighting going on between Thunderball or Powerball, as Ren likes.
Yeah, Thunderball.
Yeah, he's the Lotto villain.
Yeah, the Lotto villain. And creating quite a issue here with traffic that Spider-Man has flown over before.
With a electrical plant or electrical station just off the road there.
And a traffic copter covering all the action.
Why don't they have Spider-Man jump like that in the movies?
I don't know, man.
Boing.
Yeah, exactly with that voice.
You can hear him going boing.
Well, I mean, you also have to take into consideration he doesn't really have much to web to necessarily. Got to do something.
Yeah.
I'm sure
they're...
spread eagle, baby.
But I love he just is just able to just tear through this fence here. Yeah.
Hiding is futile, Spider-Man. Each moment that passes only makes things worse for you.
Which is a typical villain who's always threatened by Spider-Man. Like they've always got to make it sound like they've always got the upper hand, even though Thunderbolt technically does.
Yeah.
As he just continues to smash through all this stuff. And there's a panel I can't wait when we get to it. It's one of probably my favorite depicting Thunderbolt in it. And then there's another one too. Like I just love
he's whipping around, deflecting all the bullets from the police.
Like, how fast that is. Like you just look at that. Like God, I feel like there's so much more potential to be had with this character, and he's just not used as much.
Ah.
Oh yeah. Well, I was gonna let you get down to it, like, and kind of work our way down to it. But as Spider-Man decides to, he's going to use his intelligence here, and webs up the crowbar and sends it right back to, and him catching. I love that shot. Like he's not bothered at all with what Spider-Man's attempt to do, not knowing what he's really trying to do, and I just love that. He's your web. It speaks for itself there. I just think it's such a great villainous look of like do anything you want. You're not. This is not going to work. And buys right back into it, saying that Spider-Man's made himself the most vulnerable right now as he catches it and connects it all together.
What did I do?
Sends it right back to him, and we have an electrical explosion taking off right next to the traffic there.
Yeah.
Spider-Man just killed the guy.
Potentially.
Yeah,
he tried. If
Thunderbolt had
twice,
if he was like he was with his battle with Iron Man, where he's strong but not as strong, it probably damn near would have killed him. And it's almost like Thor taking that kind of punishment.
Iron Man flies in and says, "What the fuck, Spider-Man?
You weren't supposed to kill him.
You turned him into ash."
Well, I mean, they make a point here in this panel. It says he's still breathing all that power, and all it did was knock him cold.
Yeah.
But then
how can they tell that he's breathing? Maybe it's just the electrical current motivating all the muscles.
His nerves might be still firing.
You hear someone out in the crowd, and it's Deucin out there. It's like, it's just the current. The current. But I like that.
Like he's literally fried. He probably smells like bacon over there.
He's dead. Spider-Man killed him.
I do like this part where it's Spider-Man. Can I have you for a minute of your time? I'm from TV 67. Look, I'm a little beat. If you want to know how I defeated Thunderball, it's like Thunderball, Schwunderball. How does it feel to have helped cause? Yeah, Powerball. How does it feel to have caused the worst traffic jam in the history of Eastern Long Island? It's like, huh?
And he's like, what?
Yeah, all those hospitals that went out of power, killing more people.
Yeah.
Spider-Man just committed a genocide.
Everybody that was on life support is over.
Yeah. You bum.
Everyone getting out of the cars just to go after him, which is typical Peter Parker luck.
Yeah, typical Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It would have been ironic if they all pulled out the crowbars.
I like this. He hops on the back of a truck and he's just like, "Home, James." And the guy pulls the deuce and so it says here, admitted who but Spider-Man could save the day and ride off into the sunset in a pickup truck. What's next for our boy? Read on and you shall see. And that takes us to the second half of the story, which is the cover part here in the bottom half, the kid who collects Spider-Man. So along this story, we're going to get little newspaper clippings that is essentially going to tell you that Timothy Harrison, who likes to just be called Tim, doesn't like to be called Timothy at all, has amassed quite a big collection of Spider-Man memorabilia, news clippings, shit from battles with other villains that he's pulled shit out of walls and kept in jars as we go on. But
even Mary Jane's OnlyFans pics.
Yeah. I love our little reference here to Star Wars because they do say is it right here in this little bit? Yeah, he's seen all the Star Wars movies about a dozen times each. Much like most kids, he's a big Mets fan and enjoys whatever noise is passing for music these days. So Jacob clearly out of touch.
He's a fogey.
Yeah,
he's a fucking fogey.
Old man.
Also, at the time they made this comic book, the Marvel still had rights to Star Wars.
Yeah, it's a brand synergy.
All the way until 1986, I think.
When Dark Horse would pick it up.
Yeah, and this was also kind of like that beginning. I know it happened kind of more in the early 90s, where then it's all right, Marvel starting to sell off. Oh, you can have film rights here and here and here.
Yeah.
That's why we're in the mess.
Because we destroyed our business. Save us.
Yeah, the mess that we're in today. But
save us, Hollywood. Save us. And now they're killing it. Now Hollywood is killing them.
Yeah. But Spider-Man catches Tim. Hey, are you awake? I'm kind of curious. I'm gonna assume that this is very.
I was watching you sleep.
It's gonna be very late at night.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm like, this is 1, 2, 3 a.m. maybe.
Nope.
Perhaps.
I think it might be like 10 or 11.
Timmy, I saw what you did.
Golly,
hooligan.
Golly. So I love how.
Don't you golly me? That was inhuman what you did.
But then Tim questions it. He's like, "This can't be real. What's not real, Tim? Me?" And so you can just see this playing. I mean, as a kid,
beat your ass.
Yeah, you wake up and Spider-Man's there. Obviously, you think that you're dreaming.
You have to be, absolutely.
Yeah. So Spider-Man picks up the bed. It's like, if I wasn't Spider-Man, I wouldn't be able to do this, right? I don't know. I do some like, I'm not convinced. Kind of don't.
Maybe you're a Skrull.
Which I could see Deucin laying in a hospital bed, just being the most cynical asshole.
Yeah, Deucin would do that. He'd wake up and be like, "You're a Skrull."
I mean, I was in a hospital twice, so.
Oh, did Spider-Man come and visit you too?
Nope.
That's why he's better.
But hey,
Spider-Man.
Did you guys think that this issue, this story was drawn by Steve Ditko?
It's very Ditko inspired. I don't think he did it, but it looks like
no, he didn't. But it really looks so close to his stuff.
It does. Even his the way the webbing is drawn on the outfit is very Ditko-esque.
Yeah, and the way human characters look like everything.
Yeah, it's very Ditko inspired, which is a nice little nod, I think. Because some people don't like Ditko's artwork. Like, I like it because it's the beginning of Spider-Man and the villains. I'm sure Ren, it's a nice frosty soft serve shit.
So what's Spider-Man doing to that kid's head?
He's ruffling his hair.
Yeah.
He's pulling ticks out of it.
Yeah,
it's like he's measuring his cranium, but for what
checking
purpose?
The bump on his head.
He's like, oh yeah, this is a good sized cranium for my experiments, for my Skrull experiments.
I'm a scientist.
So
you want to see me do science?
Me, I'm a doctor.
Spider-Man has come across this article in the Daily Bugle, and he couldn't pass up the chance to meet such a true faithful
An orphan.
fan.
Nobody will miss him.
Oh my god. And he asked, "Can I see your collection?" So we go back here to another little bit of newspaper clippings that's saying he has an old trunk filled with Spider-Man memorabilia, big scrapbooks with magazine newspaper clippings, television appearances, souvenirs, etc., etc. Kind of building up. Deucin probably appreciated a nice Spider-Man butt shot right there.
Spidey bum.
But
let's just be glad that Spider-Man is not a nudist.
Oh God! Once again,
more Star Wars there.
Still make a point to keep that. We gotta milk this for what it is. But we're going through Tim's collection. He's even got a film reel here, and Spider-Man saying, "Oh, that really takes me back." And he's like, "If you think that's something, check this out." And he's like, "I'm pretty sure this is the first article ever written about you ever." And
James Jonah's a jerk.
Yeah, and the Spider-Man saying, judging by the date, it very may well be. And this is when
Ew.
Tim starts getting really inquisitive. He's like, always wondered, how'd you get your powers? Were you
That
born with
nosy
them?
little bitch.
Yeah. Why would you want to know? Are you CIA?
So we get a retelling of his origin story, which
Are you wired, Timmy?
that's why he was touching his head.
Who you talking to, Timmy?
Maybe the wires in his hair. So he explains to him.
Don't fuck with me, Timmy. Look at this web shooter.
I'll suffocate you, little kid.
And he tells him, hey, I don't have these web shooters. It's actually a little spot there on my arm, and the shooters organically come out of my wrist.
I can make a noose out of them.
Yeah. Oh, my God. So he tells him about the web shooters, makes him a little swing, pushes him around as he's telling the story. Kind of, when you think about it, it's kind of a little sweet moment, I guess.
Absolutely.
Just recounting, like, letting Tim know more about his backstory because he's very inquisitive, wants to know more about this person that he has amassed all this stuff about. And I guess putting yourself in the perspective of being a kid and looking up to superheroes, especially if you're looking at it in a comic book sense, they are actually, like, we're just reading about it. These kids in these stories are living in this world. To adore them and to have this and to be talking to them face to face and asking them those questions to kind of break down the layers of something for a kid his age, that has to be pretty, pun intended, amazing.
Well, that, and it's logical. Like, what kid wouldn't react this way to, in the real world? You got nothing but questions. You sit around,
especially a fan.
Yeah, you would want to know, just like how we are with people we are infatuated with, like what they do, how they get that way, and how they accomplish this. Like it makes sense for this child to have.
But again, like he was just watching you sleep.
Now, I'm starting to get the vibe that Deucen didn't enjoy this book at all.
Yeah.
No, I did. It's just that
it doesn't fucking sound like it.
Yeah. What do you say about Germans? What do you say?
I don't know.
What?
I thought he said. I don't know.
Yeah, he said something about strange Germans.
No, that was the episode on Sunday.
Oh, okay. So he goes on to ask him here, you gave it up to Chase Crooks? How come? So that Spider-Man gets kind of uncomfortable, afraid you.
And I like that though. Like he's like, oh, but it's one of the few times you really get to see Peter Parker / Spider-Man be vulnerable to anybody that he's not talking to himself.
Or not someone that he's in love with.
Or Mary Jane, essentially.
Also, one of the few times that you see the corpse of Ben Parker.
Yeah, because it's not something that's ever really been, it's always been, like, talked about off, like, the panels, like, well, son, we got to tell you about this. You don't really see that.
You get him
and
here.
And it doesn't, I mean, all these throwbacks are very, very nice, homages to Amazing Fantasy 15.
And it's a good way too, I think, if somehow this was your first introduction to Spider-Man, this is like the first Spider-Man book you picked up, then this
could not have been more perfect for anyone new to the series.
Yeah. A good little moment here where Spider-Man's saying, if I had stopped that burglar when I had the chance, but no, all I cared about was myself.
Thanks, Demi, you depressed me.
And he explains, that's why I started chasing crooks. I caught that burglar and swore that no one else was going to get hurt if I could help it. And then Tim says, geez, do you have to be so hard on yourself? I know you messed up, but at least you've tried to make up for it. And he says, I'll be making up for that for a long time. And then in the kids' sense, they're like, hey, come on, I got other shit to show you. So
yeah.
Like,
trying to change the subject,
Yeah.
But they also make a point.
Again.
They also make a point early on, and we didn't touch on this at all. I think it was in that very first introductory newspaper clip where the writer is saying he prefers to be called Tim, and he's pretty much just a old soul in a young kid body. So yeah, he kind of wise beyond his years. So we get here, of course, the The recounting, my cousin Al was on a field trip to some museum in the city when Spider-Man stopped some guys who were trying to steal some rare jewels that were on loan from India or somewhere. Al had his camera with him, and he shot a whole set of slides of Spider-Man in action. Then dug into the trunk and pulled out a jar holding 5 flattened 38 slugs. Dug these out of the sides of a building in Forest Hills the day after Spider-Man surprised some hold-up men outside of a branch bank. There we go. He moved so fast, they never hit him once, said Tim. I almost called him Timmy. Timmy.
Come on.
So here we have the slugs in the jar, which I mean,
He stole police evidence.
put him behind bars. It's like, yeah, I wish I could have seen how you dodged those bullets. I'll never figure out how you did that. Well, part of it is speed, of course, but if you can keep a secret, and then he lets him know about his spider sense, which is fun.
Yeah.
And Tim's just like, oh wow, that's amazing. Just totally enthralled in the story here. Get another newspaper clipping. They're laughing here. Here's a retraction from the time Jameson.
What antennas cost $133?
What?
A TV.
Yes. Sick. But that
Never
costs
met-
more than TV.
What?
It's a big back TV.
$133 is like, what are you gonna do? Contact
It's
Mars with that?
it's probably the antenna. There's antennas.
Just
so
the
maybe it's
antenna. It goes on top of the house.
Yeah, because a TV in this time period probably would have cost like hundreds of dollars, if not
Oy,
$1,000.
Oy.
really?
So now they're laughing about retractions from the time Jameson accused me of being Electro Boy, how he hated to run that one. So that kind of will call back to
Yeah. One of
previous
many
issue.
retractions JJ's had to issue.
Yeah. But Spider-Man's like, hey, it's getting late. You ought to be getting to sleep. I got to go do some stuff. So he says, sleep tight. And
I'm
then
gonna watching you. I'm gonna be watching you again.
And then he's getting ready to leave. And Tim asks the important question, Spider-Man, tell me who you really are. Which is
And you could just see that moment.
Hell
of
no,
thought.
kid.
If I tell you, I'll have to kill you.
The mob will get you.
what are you gonna say, Tyler?
Oh no, I like that shot of like him like stopping at the window. And just you can just tell like he's running it through his head of like he's already given up so much to this child who just is so fascinated with him and just seems so genuine and sweet about being such that he really looks up to Spider-Man. And it's like it's like, am I really going to do this? Am I really going to take this moment and just go all the way and to answer every question this child has to me? And I just love that moment of thought of like, he's just pondering like, it's and it pays off, but it's still like, it's something that, as we all know, we would see years down the road, when someone would find out, there would be prices to pay. And it's like,
and he makes sure to say as much here. If people knew who I was, then I put friends, family in danger.
Yeah.
But having secret is selfish.
I mean, he makes one say, I'd never tell another soul that I knew. I believe you, Tim, but I can't. He hesitates some more, and then he says, Tim, pulls off his mask, and he says,
I'm your father, Tim.
God damn it, dude.
Join me and we can rule the galaxy.
All right, Jason.
Fucking get it, dude. My name is Peter Parker. I took most of the photos that go with the articles that you saved. Jesus fucking Christ. So he tells him, oh, you mean all those years Jameson's been paying you to take pictures of yourself? Oh, man, holy shit, that's great. That's like, he gets a kick out of it. No, you do too, but we can't. You must tell anyone I was here. Don't worry, Pete. I understand. It's our
He
secret.
gets real familiar quick.
Yeah.
Pete.
Also, right there, look at the way Peter is drawn. Like that's super like Steve Ditko's
Yeah, it's very
artwork.
Ditko. Yeah, all of it is. It's they do a very good job of homaging the story if it had been told back then.
Did this artist draw Spider-Man comics like this all the time, or
No.
for just this?
Just for this.
Oh.
Yeah. They pretty much stuck to form throughout the 80s. I mean, from like John Romita and all through there, it's pretty much following to form. This is strictly just kind of a nice little Valentine to the fans and to Steve Ditko.
Tells them that's our secret forever and ever, I promise. And then he's saying, hey, it's really late. We got to get going.
You can kind of see a bit of some tears there as he's, because it's as you're reading this, is like, my God, like Spider-Man's doing this for a child. Like, it's so cool.
Because initially, when you're thinking about it, in the way that they got the Star Wars poster on the wall, you are led to believe, just kind of visually there for a second, that like he's visiting the child in his room.
Yeah, at home.
And he says, take care of yourself. So he flies away, hops up here, stops for a second, and then we see that it's the cancer clinic.
Yeah.
And then we get here to our final little page. I'd like to meet Spider-Man and talk to him just for a few minutes. Well, I hope Tim gets his wish. I hope that somewhere out there, Spider-Man reads these words. I hope that my publisher is wrong about him and that he takes time to visit a very brave young man named Tim Harrison. I hope he does it soon. You see, Tim Harrison has leukemia, and the doctors only give him a few more weeks to live. So just a real gut punch at the very last page of that, because when Tyler sent it to me, I think it was a couple of years ago, and I read through it, I see the poster on the wall. I'm like, oh, he's visiting him in his room. Like, he's just really into Spider-Man. Like, this kid's got all these things. Spider-Man's going to just like, oh, hey, we're just going to get a nice little story, and then it's just right in the face. Oh, okay, he's dying. Which I guess if you're a cynical asshole, you probably pick that up in the first 5 seconds.
Oh, no, actually, it's very effective that... It's only when Peter is delving deeper and deeper into details about himself that you start getting a hint that there's something more to this. Because typically he really wouldn't be so open about himself.
Yeah.
Right. Why couldn't we get this from you early in the conversation, dude?
Really?
Because that wouldn't be so fun.
The fun is talking about the greatness of the story, man.
Yeah, but it's more fun to see you get redder in the face.
Yeah, we love seeing you squirm, buddy.
Yeah, it's just great to piss me off during it. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. It's the best of the best where you can take a great story and just take that nice soft serve shit and just put it in your hand. Just smear it all over there.
Yeah,
rub it in the skin.
But the last panel is very Ditko-esque, like the splash of Spidey's face in the sky. That's how a lot of the Steve Ditko issues would end with that. I mean, they did that in the Spectacular Spider-Man series. There were a lot of homages to Steve Ditko with Spider-Man's face in the New York skyline. Like that is like, again, a big Valentine's of Steve Ditko's time on Spider-Man. I love it.
Ren, what did you think of this back half here? Just the story, like how it all comes together.
The story's pretty cool, man. Like I really thought it was heartwarming. You get to the end, you're like, oh man, that fucking sucks.
Yeah.
But it's also, cool that they have this type of story where they're like, okay, Make-A-Wish Foundation type thing, and this is what this kid wanted, and he made time to go see this kid, and he made a really crucial decision to say, okay, I'm going to show you who I am, make all your fucking dreams come true, because I'm Spider-Man and I'm selfish as shit, and I'm gonna make you happy, kid, so it'll make me happy, kid. It was cool, man. It was really cool. I wish the artwork was on par with how serious the story is.
But at the same time, it is in line with the Ditko stuff.
I mean, is there any appreciation for the older artwork of the '60s, like with Jack Kirby? I know you don't like Steve, but is there any appreciation at least for their? I mean, they came up with all the initial designs for these characters, the heroes and villains.
So here's my stance on the OGs. I will never not give them their flowers for being the forerunners. It's just like I'm a big hip hop head. So I love the fact that there had to be someone to start what became good, right? You had to have somebody create a Spider-Man, a Hulk, a Wolverine, or whoever else, right? But for that time, they were amazing.
Mm-hmm.
For my time, they were not. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when I got into comics, I didn't give a fuck about those old guys. Once I started learning who they were and what they did and how it got to my first comic book, which was New Mutants, I had to learn later on.
Damn, that far ahead? I figured. I thought you were reading the Kirby stuff when it was new.
Fuck you, man. Live on air. Fuck you, man. No, dude. Like, I
So New Mutants was what? That was like
80s.
Yeah.
It was 80s.
Oh,
Yeah.
in my head, I was thinking like 90.
No, it was late 80s.
Late 80s,
Okay.
yeah.
It was late 80s. It was probably 88.
Yeah, that right there. Yeah, that.
And they were deep in, but 88, 89, I was going to the 7-Eleven around the corner from my mom's house and getting the New Mutants books every month. So, and that was before I was going to the comic shop. But either way, like I will absolutely always give props to the original guys, whether I like them or not. But stylistically, I don't like most of them.
It had to evolve.
After all, it's like there's that evolution aspect of things. Like when Ditko did Spider-Man, it was just beginning. The character was still evolving. So here comes John Romita, and he polished the whole thing, and it looks much better. So much so that the plans for the 60s animated series were originally that they would base the looks of the characters on Steve Ditko stuff. But then Romita's era began. It was much better, and they switched to that, and it looked phenomenal in animation as well. And like when it comes to Jack Kirby, like if you look at his Incredible Hulk, it's super rough. Yeah. But then you fast forward to Herb Trimpe's stuff. That's the Hulk that you know today.
I mean, that would have had to have been fun to start reading comics when all of that really started, and just stick with it and watch it evolve in real time. But I get what Ren's saying, I guess, to that degree. It's similar with film to an extent, right? Like if like Tyler, like, sure, we have an appreciation for the black and white movies, but also as time goes on, those kids, when they go and would watch black and white movies, it's like, oh, they're boring. And even you have said as such. And I was like that. You would see black and white, you'd be like, oh man, this is gonna be boring.
Which is weird because I would watch King Kong and be, like, you don't see Kong for what feels like a long time when you're a kid waiting for him to show up on Skull Island. But you couldn't pull me away from it. I'd watch the Universal Monster movies as a kid. And I get bored out of my mind waiting and they're very short movies, but I was like, God, fuck this.
Did you fall asleep 5 times?
I did fall asleep during Dracula, Creature from the Black Lagoon, and Phantom of the Opera.
Creature I don't understand, but the others, favorite.
Yeah. With Invisible Man, you got the monster right away, though.
Yeah, but I wouldn't see it till I was an adult, though. So that was kind of like when I rented 3 of them. Like I kept falling asleep. I still love the characters. I would rent the books from the library that would talk about the movies and the mythology. But
the pacing of the movies back then was different than what we were already.
Yeah, it's different. But then I think about some of the other movies too that I watched as a kid, like Predator. I was immediately engaged because of how Arnold and his crew looked in the movie. The Predator doesn't show up in its actual physical form until well into the movie. Same thing with Jaws. You don't see the shark until he eats the man in the estuary. Yeah, it's like when he eats the man in the estuary, you see a nice glimpse of the shark, of when he's getting ready to chomp down and bite his leg off, and then full view when they're throwing the chum out. But a good story, it kept me engaged the entire. Hell, the Karate Kid tournament, the big fight scene, that's at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
But I'm engaged the entire time. But
Well, it's because character development.
Yeah, but like I said with King Kong, I was all into King Kong. I was, but Godzilla, I like pulled the fuck out of me.
But
there's always exceptions, but it's
yeah.
like there's obviously old school, like there's obviously old school artists that I look back on and like, oh, that's fucking dope. I like noir books. I like those old type of magazine books. But yeah, like it's just stylistic, man.
But I think it's good because I look back at a lot of the older books, like even like the Golden Age when you had the Human Torch and Toro and Submariner was in those books, the old Captain America books, like the old ones, like before he was brought back, as an Avenger, or like the Sandman, the Spectre, all those Golden Age, characters. Like they're not as epic because I love the Submariner, but like that Submariner, even though I like the upgrades better, but I still appreciate it because I remember they had this big compendium book in the library at my elementary school. It was about this thick of these Golden Age books of, a Human Torch and Toro, the Spectre, and just like not knowing much about them. Like this Human Torch is like he's got a partner. It's like it's not the same Human Torch, but I still thought it was fascinating because it was old comic books. I just thought it was, I didn't look.
Made you want to buy war bonds, didn't it?
Well, I don't remember seeing any stories that were World War II based at the time, but
they wanted you to buy those war bonds.
I at that time when I was discovering that stuff, I would have done it too if you told me what I would have supported that because I was all about comic books, the history, the mythology about it. The only person I ever thought was ugly artwork was, and I've said this before, was Sal Buscema, John's brother on Spectacular Spider-Man. I thought the art was so fucking ugly as a kid. But now I love it. As an adult, I appreciate because he drew true to form when he was working on other books, in the 70s. Like he's drawing, you wouldn't know it's a Sal Buscema book until he's on Spectacular Spider-Man, and he's drawing, the death of the second Green Goblin, Vermin, Tombstone. All those characters have got that very distinct Sal Buscema look. He draws villains and anger and intensity in people's faces like nobody else.
So why did you hate it so much as a kid?
I just thought it was ugly looking, like so many like jarring lines on their faces. Whereas I'm looking at, and I noticed it during the Maximum Carnage storyline because you're trying to get all these issues and noticing the artwork's different in every book. I didn't understand that. They had different arts in every book. Like one book was okay, that book was better, and then like Amazing Spider-Man, Mark Bagley was on. Like this is where the artwork is really at. Like I love this, and then I'd see Spectacular Spider-Man. Like oh my god, this is where all the villains have got like these like edgy faces and shit, and they're just like excessively angry. And like this is ugly. Like I hate this. And as I got older, I'm like, you know what? The stories are good. I'm like, I appreciate Sal's,
and he grew on you.
Yeah, and he really developed his own look on Spider-Man, and it wouldn't be my favorite, but I certainly grew to appreciate it. It's, it's certainly better than a lot of the shit they've done. It's, like Tim Sale was another artist. Like I think he was known for drawing ugly, but it's. I definitely wouldn't put it in my top 50 artists of all time, but it made it doable, to read like a Spider-Man Blue or like the Long Halloween that he did with Jeff Loeb on Batman. But it's not great. Like I wouldn't want a poster of it in my room or something like that. It's like it's doable, it's passable, but it's more important when the heroes look like they're going to kick your ass, whether they're good or bad. And when you draw ugly. Let me see. Are any you guys familiar with Sal Buscema? Like what with any of that stuff, guys?
I think if you sent me,
I probably have to see it.
If you're talking about Tombstone, I think if you sent me an image, like I have an idea in my head of what it looks like.
I'm gonna send you his Green Goblin.
Okay, I think I have an idea what that's gonna look like.
Which I'm looking at. This is a great shot of the Green Goblin, but and if I find a few more.
Johnny's saying Ren learned how to read at 16.
And I actually have a tank top with Sal Buscema's Green Goblin on it, just because, like, oh my god, like, okay, I'll take that. Here's him carrying, and this was, I believe this is from the death of Green Goblin in Spectacular Spider-Man 200. But those are kind of
Okay.
samples. Which
that's not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Actually.
Did you put it in the group?
No, I sent to Nathan and put it on the screen.
Okay, gotcha.
I'll save them here. I actually wanted to.
And I'll send one of Tombstone.
We had this question from Philippe. The animated series episode was based on the issue that we just talked about here. Yes.
Yes.
We were actually talking about it before we went live. There are some alterations to it, but yes, it's based off of it.
Deucin explained that they changed the gender of the kid and a couple other things.
I'll send one of Tombstone and Robbie Robinson in jail here. It's kind of trying to get a good example of like how he would draw people, but villains are different because you can have more fun drawing them, so you can have a lot of expressions and things like that. So, but as a kid, like I even though it was like the death of the second Green Goblin, that was a big deal, and I was kind of like buying into it, but I'm like, I wish someone else was drawing it. And now I'm like, I could read that run, but see, that's like it's a Jack in the Box to the Green Goblin sent to Mary Jane, but see how he draws. There's a lot of expression in it, malice when he draws villains.
Oh, hi. Saw that.
And, here's him carrying off Mary Jane. Like it's the human, like the human facial features. I found off-putting as a kid. I found to be ugly,
kind of boxy.
Yes, very boxy. Like when he just would draw. When he would draw Harry Osborn's son, like he's always drawn. I mean, he's an ugly looking kid to begin with, but like he'd always.
There you go, Ren.
Yeah. Wasn't Romita Jr. also drawing like this?
Actually,
Romita, very square.
Yeah, which Romita actually started off. There's another one there of Tombstone and Joe Robinson. In jail there. So there's a lot of
that was also adapted in the United series, I think.
Okay, the Tombstone character or that story arc.
I think that story.
Okay, no, actually, John Romita Jr. Excuse me, actually started out drawing very online. Like he did like the Hobgoblin, like the first appearance of the Hobgoblin. Some of those early '80s issues of John Romita Jr. and they look fantastic. They look so good.
So Max says can't stand John.
Yeah, I can't stand his work later on when let me show you because because I like discussing this because I don't get to talk about this kind of stuff too often. So
his modern work is
shit, and he knows it. He's already said he's already said like
I know I suck.
Yeah, he's I think he's well aware that.
Thanks, Tyler.
Yeah. But because it's quick, he said.
I think that's the most American I've ever heard Deucin sound.
Yeah. All right, here's his Hobgoblin. When the Hobgoblin debuted in Amazing Spider-Man, like this is still with style, and this is John. He also did the Juggernaut storyline where Juggernaut and Black Tom Cassidy are after Madam Web, and Spider-Man's trying to stop Juggernaut all by himself, and no one's available to help. All right, here's his Hobgoblin.
Nobody, huh?
Yeah, nobody was around.
Who's trying to stop Juggernaut?
Spider-Man by himself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a 2-part storyline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh. And then I'll send one of his Daredevil, and you can see a drastic difference of like, okay, this is.
I don't think Ren believes you. All right, so here we go. Here's Hobgoblin.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
it's very solid.
And this is, even though I sent this to Nathan, it's a wonderful story, but it's the artwork. It can grow on you, or it can
yeah.
Yeah. So this is his. When he started doing his own style, he did a miniseries with Frank Miller, kind of retelling the origin of Daredevil, and this is really when he starts developing his unique style, which you can call it that. I hated it on Amazing Spider-Man in the 2000s. Like that was one of the biggest reasons I did not read it. I was like, "Fuck this! This artwork's ugly as fuck."
I personally don't mind it, but I get why people don't enjoy it.
Yeah, it's
you talk about like boxy. This is very
it's not.
It's like it tries to be more like European comic books.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it kind of goes with what we were talking about earlier of just taking stuff and evolving it or trying to like putting your own,
but then running it into the ground.
Well, the good thing about this, at least, is it's only 6 issues, 6 issues, something like that. So it doesn't last very long. But I did.
His work was so
enjoy
stiff
it.
to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was
Yeah.
very boxy, and
Yeah.
I couldn't get past that.
I think the biggest selling point for that is just like I like Daredevil a lot, so just reading that and just having that story, especially with Frank Miller, and I know that he's very divisive too, but I did enjoy that one quite a bit. Is it like holy shit? No, of course not, but I liked it well enough, and the fact that it's very short and you can just like read it, be done with it. Okay, what's next?
The Man Without Fear.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's an easy read. It's a wonderful story. Like it's
yeah.
And you can tell,
that's
like,
kind of more the case of where the story takes the precedence over the art.
Yeah, and if you like the Daredevil Netflix series, especially the first season, which is the best season, I think that pulls a lot from this.
Yeah,
like the black outfit, even though that showed up in the Incredible Hulk TV movie, you see Daredevil wearing a full black outfit with the mask over his face as like his first look.
Yeah, for pretty much until the last episode of the first season, and then he gets the costume.
The full red outfit.
Yeah.
But
hey, who did the artwork for the very first issue of Daredevil?
Oh God, who was that?
Because Ren, if you look at that issue, the artwork is fantastic right from the get-go.
You talking about the yellow and red outfit, Daredevil, like the very first issue?
No,
Daredevil?
in general, the artwork in the entire issue is phenomenal. Like there's literally no faults with that one.
But we're talking about the classic yellow and red outfit, though. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the original, the very first issue.
Yeah, it's God, I have no idea at the moment. I'm gonna find out real quick as we're.
Everybody's on the search on the screen that I have
I'm
here.
pulling it up now.
This is what Doosan got to.
Bill Everett.
Bill Everett, yeah.
He didn't have the flaws that Steve Ditko exhibited, nor Jack Kirby. Like his stuff was fully formed right away.
Mm-hmm. And he did a good job. And most time, honestly, even though Daredevil's initial run doesn't have the best stories, but the artwork's pretty consistently good. Like I can't think of a whole bunch where I'm like, God, this is. Really, there were some. Don't get me wrong, but I felt like there was some decent artists on the book.
It was mostly fun until Frank Miller turned it super dark.
But that's when it got really good with stories, man. Like,
but it's also like depressing. I want fun Daredevil.
But there's some really good, because that's when the Kingpin becomes the Kingpin we know today, was with Frank Miller's run. And that's something that we have to thank him for, because
that's true.
He was. Even when I was a kid, like I always knew him as to be a Spider-Man villain because of the 60s TV series on VHS. But even when he's like, I want to make the Kingpin like a prominent villain, like, you want to pick like one of our C-list villains to be your prominent villain? Like, all right, go ahead, go for it. And to this day, he's one of the most popular Marvel villains because of what Frank Miller decided to turn him into.
And it really made sense to pair him up to pit him against Daredevil, because Daredevil is a lawyer.
Yeah.
And Kingpin is a criminal, so criminal mastermind of the underworld.
Why is the Punisher on the cover of this? Punisher's not in the story at all. Why is the Punisher on the cover?
Sometimes they will do that random thing,
because who are these guys? They're not in this comic at all. What's
Bill and Bull. That's a French gag strip.
What? Why are they?
This was a comic book. This was a comic book magazine that was.
Why is Punisher being arrested? What's going on?
He's a jerk. Like, he kills people.
all these characters that aren't involved in the story. What's going on? Why?
Well, they're jerks. They're all jerks.
Why?
Look, Thunderball.
Oh, there's a Bible.
And above the Bible is Thunderball.
What does the Bible got to do with Spider-Man?
Punisher's not Christian.
He's not.
What is this? This is not Spider-Man.
No, but it's on the next page.
No, legit though. What is this?
Well, there's the gag strips, short gag strips.
Just a bunch of strips.
Yeah.
Deucing is outside. All right, yeah. So all of this, of course, is going to be in black and white, but I don't think there's any, if all, differences with the art at all here.
Yeah, we didn't censor stuff.
Okay.
Unlike
I wonder
some
why they
other
chose
communist
black and white for
countries.
these.
What was that,
Yeah,
Brad?
because it was cheaper to print.
Ah,
Yeah.
gotcha.
It wasn't until like 90s when it became cheaper to print in full color. That's why also even when you look at UK printed stuff,
Yep.
same thing. It's dominated by black and white print.
Yeah, well, it's like when we cover the Tyler's favorite, the UK stuff. Like the first couple pages will be in color on like the main story or a couple of the stories, but the rest of it's in black and white.
Yeah.
Which I mean, how do you guys feel about that? Like we just went through this comic in color, seeing it in black and white. Is that you're just like no, or is it kind of cool to just see it that way?
It's cool to see it that way, but it's I'd be better with this than someone who wants to go in and just color it like so poorly, like everything's colored wrong or off color. I would much rather like just because I think of like the Savage Sword of Conan. Jesus Christ. It's Powerball and Spider-Man fighting outside.
Yeah, it's fighting outside Deuce's house.
Yeah,
it's that traffic, man. Yeah, the black and white is really cool. Like I really admire inking.
Yeah,
and if you do it right, it looks pretty good, black and white.
And these are great inks. Like I mean, if they just didn't want to add the color, that's fine because the pencils and inks were done exceptionally well. It's not too often because Spider-Man was the #1 book at Marvel for so long, so they always had the best people working on this book. So there was never going to be any no shortchanging. It was just the lower tier books got the least of or what would be considered you're not top of the heap in terms of talent. So
I think some of the stuff within this, like the shot of Spider-Man here, I actually prefer more because when you see it in color, it's not as refined as it needs to be just because of the way that it's drawn. So to see it in black and white, it kind of stands out a little more. Yeah, I like that a lot.
It also helps that the print was in top quality.
Yeah,
so everything is nice and sharp.
Very. Since we're seeing this with no colors, what would you two prefer to see Thunderball's color scheme be then? If you don't like the green and yellow,
pink.
No. Yeah, right. Real answer.
I think a really cool bluish or a dark purple and gold would have been really nice for him. Red, I don't know. The green just doesn't match for me. I'm not a big green fan either.
Now, in terms of just green on certain kinds of greens, or is just green on any character in general? Like if we were to say, Radioactive Man or the Hulk in green or Swamp Thing green.
There's also the problem is that you already had two villains that had the green and yellow costumes.
Green and yellow color.
You had Dr. Octopus, you had Electro.
Yeah, the lighter green and the yellow. So
I still feel like
if they changed it to a darker green, it might have worked better.
But I think because Doc Ock tends to have more of a darker green. Like his is not as lime green. I've seen him wear lime green before, but it tends to be a more darker green. Whereas Thunderbolt is definitely more of a lime green. Electro's it's not as dark as Dr. Octopus, but it's not as light as Thunderbolt's. It's kind of like an in between there. With his color of green and the yellow, I don't know. I still think it works though. It's hard for me to picture the purple and gold. I think you said would be interesting.
What about baby blue and purple?
I
no,
feel
because that would.
You were serious?
That would blend with the sky too
much.
Okay. Well, no, because I think of the character Boomerang in Marvel has a kind of a baby blue and purple color scheme, like the classic. Boomerang, and I like that look. I like that look of the character. Because at first I was like, it sounds like it might be more of a heroic color scheme, but I can't think of any heroes right off that have a purple and blue. even though blue is used in a lot of heroes and villains, but it works well for Boomerang. I mean, if anyone knows who I'm talking about.
Was there any difference in dialogue, much like in translation here?
Mostly the stuff that like a little bit changes just so it sounds more natural.
Yeah, like more
because there's that component of translations is that if you watched anime, the English dubs of anime, you all too often you'll notice how unnatural dialogue sounds because they would all too often try to be like word for word direct translations. That just doesn't work, so you have to adapt it in order for it to sound natural. So there's differences like that.
Scroll through here a little more. Actually, I added it here. So yeah, they're like that.
Yeah.
Like what about that kind of color scheme for Powerball, Ren? No.
But you said it.
Yeah, but he said gold.
I didn't say blue.
Yes, you did. You said baby blue and purple.
All right,
no,
Deucen.
I did not.
He said purple and gold.
Deucen, take go ahead
That was
and
Nathan.
do Photoshop Thunderball with purple and gold at some point. We'll see what it looks
Which
like.
I imagine the gold would cover the face, and the purple would be the body, and like the body outfit. That's what I'm thinking if he's going to do that. Or yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think a gold all like sticking out
Yeah,
is mostly gold.
The darker color would be the bulk of the body.
Yeah, I think the
and
gold.
Then the gold would be the highlights. Yeah.
Deucen's on it right now. I can already hear.
Yeah. Wow.
So how would you say this headline on the paper?
Dečak koji obožava Spider-Mana.
All right.
That's impressive.
Which is weird because like within the comic book, Spider-Man is called by the local name Pauk, because that's how we say spider. But for the titles, they would say Spider-Man. Not sure really why, but the local name otherwise was active in use since literally 1960s. Like that's how far back Marvel stuff goes here.
I mean, it could be the case too. Just what if it's an American in Slovenia or wherever you're from, and it's just like, oh yes, Spider-Man. They just see it written out like that. Yes, that's Spider-Man.
Yeah, maybe.
We should have just had Deucen read this back to us, this entire thing.
No.
Well, I mean, how's his butt looking? Your version of the comic
looks like a toy.
Look at that! Look at the butthole.
He's got dirty crack.
Yeah, dirty
crack. That's why you should be glad that he's not a nudist.
I mean, from here you can't really tell. This could be.
Yeah, but really, like the comic book would become so bizarre if he were nude. Like all those literally.
Why would they even do that?
In
a weird what if scenario, they would.
Oh, coming soon from Marvel Comics.
What if Spider-Man was nude?
Yeah, what if Spider-Man?
Yeah, it's just Peter Parker with a paper bag on his head running around nude.
Yeah.
It's actually weird that they haven't done that because they try to be so provocative every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird because I tend to feel like it's more frowned upon for sexuality in our media, whereas overseas sexuality is like okay.
Like how they didn't change this at all, by the way. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes they would leave that unaltered.
What's this bullshit?
Well, you gotta think it was probably just the artwork.
That's Wes Slade comic strip.
Oh man, we got cowboys. Cowboys and preachers. Oh wow.
Yeah, I think
that artwork's amazing.
This is probably from 1940s or something.
Kind of a random mishmash of comics thrown together in a book like that.
Yeah, that's the type of magazine that this was.
Gotcha.
Like the very next issue has Dracula from Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
And I've tried to read some of the Tomb of Dracula books. They look great, but the stories are just not great. Like it's hard to pick up any random story, and even if it's a solo, self-contained story, it's like God, this is just not what I was hoping to get out of a Dracula book. Like the covers look amazing, and there's like a fun like
same with Frankenstein. Like their Frankenstein comic books look amazing, but the scripts are terrible.
Yeah, and it's a shame because you feel like you have to just include the classic Universal monsters in their version into the Marvel mythology with Frankenstein, Dracula, and the Wolfman with Werewolf by Night, but they're just not great books.
What's going on? What's going on in this story, Dewson?
Civil War.
Okay.
he's just like making I don't know. Fuck.
I didn't read all the stories. I don't really like Western comics except Blueberry.
This looks like very John Wayne-ish here, kind of.
Maybe.
The artwork is amazing on this.
Yeah, like you should.
I really do like it.
You should get into newspaper comic strips because this was pretty much the norm for those.
Well, look at the
like even if you look at Batman newspaper strips, the quality was much higher than what you would see in standard monthly comics.
Yeah, but Ren doesn't read Batman.
Yeah, evidently I didn't learn to read until I was 16.
Yeah, well, hey,
I gave it up. I gave it up as soon as I learned comics were around.
Yeah, he gave it up for the beaver, everybody.
All pictures for the beaver.
He wants them. Oh, yeah, get them heifers.
Yep.
Where's that one Tomb of Dracula cover that I just think is I remember
this
reading.
This is a long ass little Western story, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like comic strips would generally ran long.
Yeah. Yeah, it does kind of look like old Abraham. Yeah, I guess Dewson was not pulling our chain here. Seems like it is very Civil War-esque.
Yes, with guns.
And horses.
And swamps. And that's the end of that one.
Oh, yeah. We got... What is this here?
This is like...
Around the Globe.
Interesting facts.
Something about... So what does this say about mushrooms here, Dewson?
Getting fucked up. Japan.
Some about Japan. Geneva.
If you eat a lot of mushrooms, you get less cancer.
Oh, yeah?
Is that legitimate?
Apparently.
What does this one say here with the...
Don't die with the eyes open.
The date when the Pinkerton Detective Agency was founded in the United States.
Oh, so this would be July 1st, 1884?
Yep.
The Brontosaurus. We're going back to get some dinosaurs.
Which is now declared to have never existed.
What, dinosaurs?
No, Brontosaurus.
Oh.
Really?
Because the real dinosaur that existed was Apatosaurus, which sounds so great.
Well, fuck them. I watched Jurassic Park. I know.
Yeah.
Well, the fucking dinosaur didn't name itself, so it doesn't matter.
What we got here? Minus 41 Celsius to 10 degrees Celsius.
That's when snow is possible.
That's just a really. It reminds me of the opening of the Invisible Man. That shot of an intense winter storm.
And that's the billion. But that's the comic that you said that it's not in there, but it is.
This isn't Spider-Man.
Yes, but it's French.
So is this?
Yeah, go figure on that one. Yeah.
Yeah,
because it's on the cover. It's on the back cover.
So was Spider-Man.
No, Spider-Man was inside.
No, he was on the cover.
Yeah, but he was in the color there. So there.
Did Nathan freeze up? Nathan
He
froze
did.
up.
He
I
he
guess-
had aneurysm.
We have nobody in control of the podcast. We're here. The inmates are running the asylum right now.
Yeah, we're stuck now.
I guess we're gonna have to keep going well into the
Yeah,
night here,
well-
guys.
Did he
Yeah.
really freeze?
Yeah.
This will be the longest
Oh, wow.
podcast ever.
It's on autopilot right now.
God.
We're stuck on Bully Bill
we're-
first.
yeah.
First panel.
Yeah.
Yep. That was
Okay,
it.
how does this work?
All right,
Okay,
everybody.
We'll take your questions here, and then we'll wrap
Yeah,
things up. We'll get started with the second.
Oh,
edition.
wait.
I don't know if can any of us see the comments?
I can't. Oh, he
Yeah,
lost
you
internet.
can
He lost,
you
he
can
lost
switch to
internet.
comments. But
Oh, is that
how
right?
does
Okay.
how is this still going on?
I
If
don't
Nathan
know,
isn't here,
so it's hard
and
to
how is
say.
it going to end?
We may not be on. We may just be here by
Yeah,
ourselves.
so I don't know what that means for the StreamYard.
No,
then,
it still says live. So
okay.
Oh yeah.
Well-
actually, let me check. Let me check YouTube
Okay.
to see if we're still on.
Hi everybody.
This is pretty much the first time this happened.
Yeah, this has never
pretty
happened.
awkward right now. We don't know what you guys are doing.
Well, all right. Well, let me
Yeah,
just-
we're still on.
What other characters would you guys want to cover in future episodes? Like ones you all wouldn't mind delving into,
Just Marvel you talking or
just whatever. You know, I know you want to cover Spawn at some point.
is Spawn to be dope? Shit. I don't know, man. Shazam's a pretty cool character. I've always liked Hawkman and
Yeah, Hawkman.
Green Lantern, Aquaman.
Some DC
You
stuff
know,
there.
to get out of
Did you like the change of
the Marvel
Aquaman
stuff.
in the '90s when he grew the beard and mustache and had his hand severed?
No.
You
I
didn't like
didn't
that look?
shit, man. No,
I love
didn't-
that
I didn't
look.
like it. Yeah, I bought.
classic look is better.
I mean, I'm not gonna argue, but I
With
just
the
thought that was
orange.
such a with the harpoon hand. I thought it was such a cool look. Though.
Yeah. I bought a couple of issues of when they were doing that changeover, and it was pretty cool for the time. But I knew they were trying to do it. Well, I felt like they were trying to do it just to be edgy. Like everything in the '90s is super
Yeah.
edgy, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like,
I was like, oh, you
wasn't
know,
there a-
he cut his hand off. The story was pretty cool of why he did it.
He's back.
I don't
Yeah.
know what, dude. Like the internet just dipped. I'm like, cool, I guess. Like, sure.
Yeah, during the podcast for me, it froze for a moment, but then it unfroze.
Yeah.
But that was earlier.
First time for everything. So now that we know, at least in the future, if it kicks me out, at least you guys are still
Yeah.
alive. So
Yeah,
that's-
I was
we're
waiting to
still
hear
on.
from Nate say, "Fuck, it ain't working. I'm going to fucking bed. This is the worst fucking night ever. I'm out."
it's all Deuce's fault. No, yeah, that was sometimes that happens. Normally not around this time period. It's usually way later in the night. It's like it'll dip out for maybe like 5 minutes. Probably
Yeah.
it's like a maintenance thing real fast or something. But yeah. Hey, first time
All
for
right. Well, I'm glad to know everything's
No,
all right.
I was
Nathan's
listening
good.
to you guys. So some Spawn in the future when we have the
Yeah, he
four of us
mentioned
back on.
Hawkman and Aquaman, which
Okay.
I will say, like how Aquaman got his hand severed in the comics,
Yeah.
it is compared, like Justice League did it better. There's a more just cause for having his hand severed in the Justice League cartoon than in the comic book, where he just loses his powers temporarily and it's his hands forced into the wall of piranhas and they just chew it off. Whereas in Justice League, his child is being
Yeah,
held
yeah,
up
they
for
cut it
death.
off. Mhm.
Yeah, and he had to cut off to save his kid. That's fucking epic, dude.
How come he didn't bleed?
Oh, and they did. They just couldn't do it with it's right. He's got it held up, and then it's bandaged up, and then they implant the harpoon. the
Yeah,
spear.
but it's a wet bandage.
It's a fucking cartoon, Deuce, and they can't get away with showing Paul Verhoeven blood all over it. It's just
Yeah,
not
but
gonna
it's
happen.
not like
Maybe where you're
SpongeBob.
from-
Why
okay
is
with
there no blood in filmation?
Why is no blood in the animation? The animation is not
But it's not
bloody enough.
SpongeBob. In SpongeBob, you can even have fire underwater,
Well,
but not
it's,
in
it's still
Aquaman.
it's 8 o'clock at night on a Saturday. There are still babies up watching cartoons probably, and like, oh my
Them
god, Daddy.
babies.
And then
Don't show
Mrs.
blood for the
Mrs.
baby.
Lovejoy gets upset. Oh my god, my child saw Aquaman blood on his hands. What do you think of my child?
Yeah. And then everyone does a petition like it's Beavis and Butthead all of a sudden.
Yeah, this buff coat and beaver is bad to our youth of America.
But wasn't Carl Sagan against Beavis and Butthead?
I think everybody was.
Yeah, everyone was. Yeah. Even my parents were a little like before they actually watched it. Then they saw it and like, oh, this is harmless. You know, hell, my dad thought The Simpsons was bad too, and he starts watching it and like he just bought into like the shit that the news would start saying. Bart Simpson's a bad influence on your kids.
Yeah.
Beavis and Butthead's a bad influence on your kids.
That's all about media perception and
Fuck
media
them all.
putting shit out there, and then these dumb fucks just believe everything they see on their TV.
Yeah, but with
Not-
the
not much has
Simpsons, you had,
changed.
with the Simpsons, you had the president say that they're shit.
Oh, good.
George
Yeah,
Bush at the
there was a feud between George Bush Senior and the Simpsons.
Yeah, but he was on The Simpsons too. Like, Barb, what's the name of the
Yeah,
man?
but that's the result of that.
Which, well, I mean, it worked out great to see George and Barbara move right across the street from home, and they get into a fight in the sewer. And
I
it's
I didn't.
that
never really watched Simpsons too much.
oh god, yeah,
Honestly.
those mid '90s episodes, that was the best of the best when it comes to Simpsons. I will still look back at those episodes fondly because there were some really fucking good episodes of the Simpsons back then.
Well, you can
Yeah,
watch it on
it was still
Hulu with Disney Plus.
I'm not buying another fucking streaming service package. For God's
Actually,
sake.
I think Simpsons is on Disney Plus.
It is,
Yeah.
yeah. But I'm like, I don't have it, and I'm
Come
I
on.
got Paramount, I got HBO, I got Netflix, I got YouTube. I'm like, fuck, man, I'm tapped out.
I got them all.
I don't know.
It's,
I got 'em all.
No, I'm like, what's his face in the fucking in Wizard.
Oh, yeah, he's
Yeah.
Lucas. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
pick any game you want.
I got them
I'm
all.
good at all of them. You know, all 97 of them.
But
Yeah.
do you have the MeTV Toons channel?
No.
No.
Because Captain Planet got remastered in HD.
I don't give a fuck about Captain Planet.
Yeah, Captain Planet.
What?
Captain
I'm sorry.
Planet. Captain Planet.
He's our hero. Gonna take pollution down to
Down
zero.
to zero. Yeah.
We need him
So-
now
so
more
you're
than
too
ever.
allowed to pollute.
That's what I said.
But
I need
also,
him now more than ever.
yeah, Captain Planet living in a world where half the fucking country doesn't think that he is even real, and yet the other shit that they believe in, you're like, oh, okay.
Captain Planet,
Yeah.
you're flat.
Well, plus, I didn't give a fuck about the rest of the show. I was just waiting for Captain Planet to show up and the villains on the show. Like,
Well, you know-
like,
oh,
Like Duke Nukem.
yeah, because Nathan used to play the song, but just play when
yeah,
the Kiss
When-
from Africa. Where he just
yeah,
go,
when
"Ugh!"
Dipshit- yeah,
yeah, and he just played it repeatedly on the computer because it was so, you know.
yeah.
"Ugh!" I remember getting in trouble in elementary school because we were talking about which of the two girl Planeteers we wanted to make time with in like second grade, and we got in trouble for it.
Tyler in second grade. Hey, which one of the Planeteers you want to fuck?
Yeah, and you know it was we all got called like someone went and
Fucking
tattled on us,
water.
and we had to go sit with our second grade teacher in like a conference room, and she told us we all had
Oh.
mud mines.
Mud mines?
Yeah.
Never heard it called that before.
Yeah, and we all. She was just like so disappointed in like the four of us for wanting to talk about which we do nothing of. It was like we just get naked and kiss, right? And when she was done dressing us down, she told us to go out to the water fountain and wash our mud mines out with water.
Oh man.
I will never
You
forget it.
look, you know how you get rid of hard dicks? Hydrate.
Yeah.
Go drink some water.
This is the same teacher that made us draw a picture of her in her dog costume for Halloween. And because I colored the cloud blue by accident, she made me stay behind and correct the illustration I made of her that we all had to fucking do.
What?
Because
Well, it's a commission, Tyler. It's a commission. She commissioned you to draw that, so you
Yeah,
have to
But
do
yeah,
what
and,
she
and the
says.
colors were wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's fucking
you
child labor,
bastard.
man.
Yeah, it's like
It was. I had to
Deuce's
stay
mom or
behind. I had
something.
to be late to gym class to make up for this color mistake. Fucking bitch.
Oh wow. That's
This is full circle because it goes back to Tyler talking about that word early on.
Oh yeah.
How he doesn't like.
Now it's
unless
appropriate
they
color.
deserve
Very
it.
good. That's
Yeah,
pretty good.
no, an attractive woman you want to get to
pretty
know
good.
and talk to. You don't call her a bitch or a heifer.
Oh my god.
A teacher,
You
on the
call
other
him a
hand,
heifer.
Yeah, a teacher on the head. She was being a real bitch.
No, I didn't call her a bitch. I said she was bitching at me.
Yeah,
She was being a bitch.
fucking bitch.
Oh man. There was something else I was gonna say, but I got distracted by that whole.
Oh,
thing.
at same year in class, I remember trying to draw Clawful, and Greg Collins walks over and he says, "You drew a man with titties," and 'cause I was trying to draw pecs, and he just comes over and yells out loud, "Oh man, Tyler's drawing titties over here."
That's a man with titties. God damn.
now,
He
now
didn't even say,
whenever
like,
we
look at the
now-
man's got fucking claws for hands, but just the titties.
That's all he saw. It's like, I draw titties.
now whenever we look at the Clawful, we won't be able to unsee
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
He's got
Claw's
titties.
gonna have the jugs.
Skeletor's upset with Claw. He's like, "You want me to have bigger titties?"
Your
What?
hair.
Yeah, Dewson could do it.
Yeah. What?
Oh.
Yes. God, yeah, there was, and that was the year I was really getting into comic books too. Was second grade that same year with the Mud Mine and all that shit. And
So it would have been 90, 92, 93.
92,
93.
Yeah, when the Marvel Universe
God
Series 3
Damn,
cards
you
came
guys
out.
are young.
So
Yeah.
basically, at the time period when Tyler was getting into comics, I was getting out of comics because I was more like 89 to 92. I think around the time like Batman Returns and stuff coming out and everything. This is when I really started getting into sports. Yeah, that's when I really started getting into shit.
And you guys were how old?
I'm 40.
I'll be 40 on Thursday.
No. Back then, how old were you?
Probably
so
7, 8, yeah,
Yeah,
7 or 8, yeah.
Okay.
Ren was.
Rem
I
was
was 17.
he was banging Beaver,
In 93, I was 17.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
saying "fuck you, cop."
Yeah, whatever, man.
I'm here to fuck your wife, cop.
Fuck your wife. I'm Tyrone.
Oh shit.
You weak ass motherfucker.
No, I mean, there are people I work with that are 10 years younger than me, and it's not too much of a generational gap. I don't feel like honestly I feel like if there is one, the generational gap between Tyler and myself and people that are 10 years younger is way different than what it is between us because we're all
we're all
very
more
much
inclined, like
a little more synergy there in terms of interests and
there's still more
like you were probably really into MC Hammer when he got hot, right? I was too.
Yeah.
And New Kids on the Block.
See, I was
out.
afraid to like them because I knew that the girls liked them, so therefore, like, oh, you can't say you like me.
No, I feel
Like
I mean Ren could probably. I think if you like New Kids and you were a dude in that time period, it would have been very much how it was if you liked NSYNC.
You didn't tell people you liked their music.
Yeah, that's how it was with NSYNC. Like, you didn't dare tell anyone that you didn't mind if they came on the radio or the music video popped up. Like, oh, I'll watch.
What about New Edition though? Because that seems a little different than.
Nah, New Edition was it, man.
Yeah.
New Edition got you heifers.
But also that's kind of the time period where they split off, and then you had Belle Biv DeVoe doing their whole thing.
Bobby Brown
doing his
shit.
solo shit. Yeah.
And Johnny Gill
Bobby Brown.
was
Johnny
popping
Gill.
Yeah,
off,
Johnny
and he
Gill,
was
man,
doing
hell
his
yeah.
own
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rub you the white way.
What?
I think Ralph Tresvant was the only one that didn't do really anything separately from everybody else.
What did you say? What did you? What the white way? What the hell?
Rub you the white way.
My God. It's like Robbie the White Whale. What the fuck are you talking about over there?
I don't know.
Yeah, rub me the right way.
Rub you the right. God, fuck. Rub you.
God, how is that a tongue twister for you, buddy?
I don't know.
You can't figure it out. But yeah, no,
I
it's
have no idea.
classic genre of music. I've said this time and time again. I think because they pretty much most of New Edition when they would, and maybe even some New Edition song, the New Jack Swing genre of music. I want that to come back.
Yeah, it'd be dope. It'd be dope.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I missed that early
But you can
90s
always
hip-hop.
just listen to the old stuff like I do.
Absolutely, but
You know,
it seems like it would
really
be
loud.
time. All these other genres have like
Yeah.
circled back around.
It'd be nice, man. Like that sound was amazing, and
It was.
it was a happy sound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And so it made you feel good whenever you listened to the music. It was upbeat, and you were like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, I
yeah, and you
fucking-
can rub yourself the
dude.
right way.
yeah,
Yeah.
in an
No,
elevator,
wub yourself the right way.
making love in the elevator."
What about Boys to Men? Do you like Boys to Men?
Boys
at
to
all?
Men, I
Okay.
love Boys to Men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any artists kind of in that genre that you actively disliked at the time?
Vanilla Ice.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
thinking maybe just in terms of just more,
Just like R&B.
yeah, more R&B ish.
I don't know, man. Like, I'd have to hear them because if I didn't like them, I probably forgot them. You know what I
Tony
mean?
Braxton always kind of got on my nerves a little bit.
Fuck
She was
you,
overplayed a
man.
lot, though.
Tony, I love Tony Braxton, dude.
She had
Like
a
when
great
she
voice.
before she had her nose job, and I'm just talking looks. I love the fact that her forehead went straight down to her fucking
I got.
tip of
All
her
right,
nose.
I gotta see this.
Dude, her shit was straight down. And I loved it. And then
Can
she got a bridge put in. It was fucking trash.
Can we just I'm just tossing this out here, and I don't want this to be a Sunday episode. I think this is more prime for like a Friday night. Can we just do something where we just kind of, much like we did here the past 5 minutes, just sit and talk about random shit like this? I enjoy
Sure.
this a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But there's no artists from back then that just really got on your nerves.
I'm sure there were plenty. Yeah, I'm sure there were plenty. Like,
I'm just curious,
But-
like whose music you didn't really take to, kind of in the hip hop R&B genre at the time. We can open it up to hip hop too.
yeah, I'd have to. Dude, honestly,
Because I look at it
I
with
don't
Tyler
know,
and I
like,
being a little bit younger. Like obviously, songs were overplayed a lot in that time period, especially if
Yeah.
they were hits and took off. But all right, what? Maybe not an artist, but was there a particular song in the early '90s that got played so much that you just couldn't fucking stand?
again, I'm certain there are, but
There were ones like
the way my brain works, like I would have deleted that song.
Ah.
Anything from In Vogue because they kicked me the
Oh,
fuck
yeah.
out. How about
Yeah,
that?
yeah, all right.
Yeah,
How
I heard
about
that the
that?
other day. I was like, oh my god, Rand, I should be recording this and just send it to Rand. Just
And
you know.
just be like, man,
Those
they,
heifers,
they sound so good though. Listen to them.
they would, dude.
And they were
It's,
hot.
it's almost like they just dropped some dead weight or something.
If
They
you
just
had heard our
sound invigorated when they
before
sing.
they railroaded me out of the group, man. Oh,
Yeah.
we were amazing. We would have been bigger than Prince.
No, you wouldn't have been bigger than Prince.
Yeah,
There's-
we would have.
There's
We
a comment
would have.
here. Ralph did
Yeah.
did solo albums, but it sucks. Do you agree
It
with
did.
that?
It did. Yeah. Like I was saying, he didn't. When he did his own, he didn't do much with it. You know what I mean? He tried to do like a dance-y type of sound. It just didn't sound right. Like his voice needed other voices.
And I guess
Like
that,
most Boys to Men albums sucked. If you bought anything outside of what Boys to Men put out, it was garbage because their sound was different from what they released in singles. And most of their album, the ones that they put out were garbage, man. Like they tried to do really fast-paced music, but they were known for their slower music
Yeah.
and their harmonies and stuff. But
I mean, they have obviously 2 songs that, well, maybe 3, but the 2 that prominently come to mind when I think of Boys to Men in terms of the faster paced songs is Motown Philly, of course.
Yep.
mhm.
And then secondly is Thank You, which was the first track off of the what did they was it just called 2? It was the first.
Yeah,
It was the first CD I ever bought, actually. But that was like the heavy hitter. Yeah, 2. So
but I guarantee you didn't like most of the rest of the album.
No, you're actually wrong because track 3. I like that one a lot. Now, all right, so Thank You, track 1, liked a lot. All Around the World, that one was okay. Fucking love it. Vibin', not so much. I Sit Away and Jezebel, they have an interlude because interlude was like the thing.
Big back then,
yeah.
You gotta talk.
I mean, I guess you kind of have a point because the back half of this is what they really relied on. So I'll Make Love to You on Bended Knee. 50 Candles, no. Water Runs Dry is good, but that's also another single. And then, of course, the Yesterday cover I enjoyed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 13, but that's still only half the album. So I guess you got a point.
And you have to add in their total library.
Yeah.
With the other, listen to me, man. Like they were trash. Most of their songs were not that good.
I mean, yeah, but you also have to think too that this time period was very singles heavy. How many albums did we all buy based off of a single and the rest of the album?
Yeah, that's all I ever did.
Yeah,
happened all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got a point there. They're talented. They could sing, but most of the songs kind of misses. But
they wanted to do their thing, and like you said, they got their money because they sold the singles in album form. But
and that's all you had to really do back then, I think.
Yeah, and they didn't get criticized on the whole album.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Nobody told them that the other stuff was so bad.
Yeah, but 2 first album I ever bought, half of it's really great. The other half, don't worry about. Hey, check this out.
Damn.
There's Clawful for you.
Man, Clawful got those titties.
Send this to Greg Cobb. Check out them titties, Greg.
I mean, he might.
Big ass thighs on Clawful too. What's up, girl?
Hey man, he's on Facebook. You want me to send it to him? Hey, you remember this?
What's up, girl?
Like, hey, I swear. Like, hey, you probably don't remember me at all, but hey, you remember this?
Yeah, he'd be like, "What the fuck is this?" He would have no memory.
I might.
And he used to bring a He-Man lunchbox to school because
I might do it. I might do that.
Do it.
I'll report back on Sunday when we do our show. Speaking of which, to give a hint for everyone out there, we're going to kind of, I guess in a roundabout way, celebrate the release of Warner Archives Blu-ray of The Flash original TV series from 1990. So we're going to be checking out the pilot of that, and Tom Brisky's going to be here as advertised. Brisky. Unless he drops out the last minute, which that would be doo-doo butter, but hopefully he won't do that. But we'll go ahead and we'll wrap this up. I hope everyone enjoyed this. I hope everyone else got as angry as I did for a split second at Deucin. You want to wring his neck, as Joe would say. I just want to choke him, son of a bitch.
Kick him in the balls.
Yeah, kick him in the balls. But I hope all of you enjoyed this. Leave a comment down below and let us know your thoughts on this. If you haven't done so already, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and always ring the bell so you get notified when we go live. And until next time, catch you next issue. Oh, God, what are you going to do?
Here we go again.
Yeah, I was going to say, I may Ralph, fuck you.
Oh, come on, man. Come on, man.
They need to see that clip at some point so they know what I'm talking about.
We need to do that.
Why I keep bringing that up.
Yeah.
Give me a second here because I didn't have.
I thought you would have had the backup already in the brain.
I didn't have one even planned, and I when I'm at work, I think about, of course, all right, put that in my quote down, then I completely forget about it. Just give me a split second here.
Okay.
Because I want to think of something that maybe all you guys might have seen, as opposed to just something that Nathan has seen but forgotten that he's seen.
Titties.
Yeah. See if I could think of something like that, that would kind of get Ren going there too. Oh, if I could do it justice, man. I can't even quote the line correctly if I do that one.
Don't rely on an old favorite. We need something.
Yeah,
good.
I know. I need something unique there. Hey, you ain't got a license, Lisa.
Was that in English?
Yes.
Breakfast Club.
Close.
Oh, 16 Candles.
No.
Oh.
Say big of this girl. She has some big old titties. So she kicked me in
Sure,
the
that's
fucking...
not Breakfast Club.
I'm 150% sure it's not Breakfast
Fuck.
Club.
Well,
Reese?
you're about to say kick me
Weird
in the
Science.
balls, right?
Yeah. She kicked me in the balls. In the family jewels.
Oh, with the old guys.
Yeah.
Weird Science. That was Weird
Yes.
Science, right?
Yeah, Weird Science. Yeah.
Hey, look
Yeah.
at Ren. Round of
Hey,
applause for
fire,
Ren.
give him the fireworks. He got it. Give him the
Yeah,
fireworks.
all right,
man.
do it, Ren.
Okay.
Yeah, he got it.
Yeah, he's exploding out of the left side of his body. Yeah,
It's
Ren.
all hot over here. My armpits. Yeah, fucking Weird Science.
Nathan just goes,
No, it's just
I was like-
I thought you guys were gonna say more shit. So
oh, I
was
thought we were
waiting
too. And then
before-
Nathan's like, okay, are we ending it here? I was like, what you
Yeah,
keep
that's
talking
what I'm
about?
looking at. Like, he's
I
like,
don't know.
I don't know. Keep talking about Weird Science and how hot Lisa was, and I actually
Oh,
prefer
man.
Vanessa Angel on the TV show as opposed to like Kelly on the Broad.
I like them both.
God, I mean,
And the
no, I
brother
like them
that
both
turned
too.
into that shit monster.
Oh, Bill Paxton, yeah.
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 If he pukes, you die.
Yeah, looks like a lot like Joe.
Now, Deuce is gonna have a picture of Bill Paxton shit monster with Joe's mask on there.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
You got your homework. We'll
Gotta
see.
get it done.
We'll see
No,
you on
I think
Sunday.
I think I already
yeah,
did
claw for
one
the titties.
once. The
Wait, you already did it?
yeah, like that thing sitting on Joe's chair.
Did you send it to me?
I have no idea. I think it was months ago.
Yeah.
That was your homework? Something you did months ago?
I'll have to look for it. I'll prep it for Sunday if I can find it. If not, send it to me again. He already deleted it.
It's probably in the group or something.
Is that the Penguin's impression of the bat wings in Batman Returns?
And now we fly away.
Yeah.
Oh, we could have done a Boys to Men. It's
Harmony out.
Hey, you guys want to sing? It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. You guys want to try it?
I don't know the words.
Of course he doesn't. Ren,
Yeah.
Ren knows him. I know Ren knows him. He does. He doesn't want to sing though.
That's how he's crooning to heifers. He saves
that for his renderings on Facebook.
Yeah. For the renderings.
Yeah.
I thought and when he's getting ready to like violate some poor heifer, he's just
Oh my god.
I'll dehumanize her.
I mean,
And
Yeah.
he's like smacking her backside with mayonnaise.
oh my god. All right. Well, we'll
Mayonnaise.
catch you on Sunday.